all that again. All right, let's start all that again. So, yeah, sorry about that. Microphone wasn't working. We just wasted a good 5 minutes of talking bullshit for no reason. But if you've joined now, okay, I guess now is the time to subscribe and like and leave a comment. We won't go through all that again. Yes, we are doing the round 12 live chat. I guess before I put up on the on YouTube, we will edit this. And because if you're watching it in the future, we just talked for 5 minutes and the microphone wasn't working, which usually we check beforehand because sometimes it does that. But anyway, so what I was saying, I don't know if you get from the picture, but these were my trades this week. So we're going Wilkie, Ison, and Banfield for Selwood, Burton, and Duff Tyler. Now, the only difference I said there might be would be maybe Burton, I keep Burton and I sell Angry Anderson instead if he's not named. And that gives me a little bit more money. And I was saying that there's 3 players I'm looking at coming off the buys. I'm going to stick to the strategy, the buy strategy, which I think is the best strategy. It's not 100%, for everybody, but the best strategy is to wait and get the players coming off their buy. And that's going to be, in the long run, is going to give you some extra points. I think there are a few exceptions to that rule that we'll go through in a minute. But for me, that's what I'm doing. I'm getting players coming off their buys, which means, so after I do these trades, I've got 167, 600 left in the bank. Then I will sell Philippou because I don't think he keeps getting these 80s. And I'll move, well, we already got Murdoch down here in the forward line, but Sheasel will come down into the forward line. Horn Francis will also go back in the forward line. And so then I will have a completed, inverted commas, completed forward line with Murdoch at at F6 for the moment. And then, so there's 1 or 3 players I want. Either Rao, Noah Anderson, or LDU. And before we went on stream, I was doing a little bit of research on all 3 of those to see who I really want. And the sad situation is the one that I really want is the one that I sold, which was Noah Anderson. So he's a little bit more expensive. As you can see, I was looking at Rao here. I was showing you guys he's 514, where Anderson is like 567, 65, which I could have got him at 480 again if I really wanted him, but I was a bit annoyed at him with how he performed earlier on in the season. So, and LDU, I think it's also good as well. But I think the reason I think I want Noah Anderson, I think he's got a higher floor, and then LDU's even right about that same price as well. So, I think I want Noah Anderson, but the only way I can get him is by selling the other Anderson. So I pretty much think I've caught up to where I was. So who we got? Thank you for the people that told me about the microphone not working. Mikhail's, Grand Slam, Darren. Thank you, guys. Thank you for everyone. Hey, G-Bags, how are you? He says, thoughts on trading Cook, McAndrew, and Henry to BJ Williams, Banfield, and Sanders. This will leave you with 13 trades and 5K in the bank. I think it's fine, but as an Eagles supporter, I'm not on the BJ Williams bandwagon, I have to admit. He's had a couple of good games, and he's looked awesome. As an Eagles supporter, I love what he's done the last couple of weeks. He's looked really good as a team, but I don't think he keeps it up. I think he can drop you a 60 or a 70 any day of the week. So if it helps you out with your ruck, having someone who can swap from the ruck, you need that. You want someone you can swap out with a Kalani White or something. That's fine. But I wouldn't be expecting those big scores too often. He did beat up on players that, he actually did well against like reasonable players like Cameron. But I think you'll find when he plays a Gorn or a Grundy or a Sherry or one of those big boys, he's not going to do too well. So if you're prepared to ride that, roller coaster ride, and a lot of the forwards are roller coaster rides. So if you're prepared to, get on that ride, I can get behind it. But for me, it's not a pick for me. I'm still thinking that there's other better options out there. maybe I hope he proves me wrong, but just he has never shown us this before ever. Now maybe the rules suit him a little bit better this year. They seem to. He's certainly better than Flynn, and in past years I've been more of a Flynn fan than a Bailey Williams. Now he's flipped all that this year, and I'm really liking the competitiveness that he's putting in. But I'm just not sold that he's a full-on Supercoach pick so far. But I hope you guys go and pick him, and I hope he scores 130 every week, because if he does that, that means the Eagles are going to be doing quite well. Hey, Ozzy, how are you? Thank you, mate. Thank you for the love of the show. G-Bags, another move you can make is to hold McAndrew, then bring in Oliver instead of Sanders and downgrade Carroll to Dirksen. Bring in Oliver. McAndrew and Henry to Williams, Banfield. Oh, and you're bringing Riley Sanders as well. I like Riley Sanders. I do like Riley Sanders. Hopefully that doesn't mess up your round 16 bye too much. I would pick Sanders over Bailey Williams. The only issue I also have, there's always issues, right? Seano has lots of issues with Supercoach players, especially in the forward line. They always have issues. The issues with Sanders is if Liberatore comes back and steals a bit of his midfield time. But he looks really good, and I do like him, and I've got him in a couple of my draft teams, and he's killing it. So if I had the choice, just because I don't know, I think it's tricky. Like, I don't think anyone's kicking out Bailey Williams out of the ruck position. So he's not going to lose that ruck position. And if he keeps performing like he is, maybe he's got potential to have a better score, where Sanders, he's doing great. And I'd probably prefer, if I knew that Sanders' role was going to stay exactly the same it is now, I'd probably prefer Sanders. But with the fact that if Liberatore comes back and takes some of his time away, then I'd be a little bit worried. But I think they're both reasonable picks. And like we said, the forward line's a bit up and down. There's no real set, besides maybe Sheasel, Petrarca, and now if Flanders holds this role, this Seagull back role, I think they're probably the top three. Maybe if Horn Francis can pull his finger out and do what he did last week every week, maybe the top four. But I think there's a lot of, and Pickett as well, who's up and down. So I think those last couple of forward positions, you really just got to roll the dice and pick who you can afford or who suits your team, and then it's gonna be up and down. It's gonna be a bumpy ride, whoever you pick, I would say. Hey, Yabo Huss, Yaboy Huss, we're gonna call you. Just sub. Thank you so much, mate. Thank you, everyone, and Aussie. Thank you for subbing. Everyone, thank you subbing for the dodgy mic at the beginning. So don't forget, crew. There's still time. If you join my Discord, which should be pinned, I should have pinned it to the top, pin message. Okay, it's pinned to the top now. Join the Discord, pop your team in where it says post my team here channel, and we'll put it up on the screen and have a bit of a chat about it. So there's plenty of time to do that. So go ahead and do that if you want your team to feature in today's stream. So yeah, and then G-Bags, you said you bring in Oliver instead of Sanders and downgrade to Carroll to Dirksen. We definitely want to see if Dirksen gets named this week. If he gets named and Wiedering gets named, cool. I think he's got good job security. If Wiedering doesn't get named, I'd be a little bit worried about bringing in Dirksen this week at the inflated price. And if Wiedering gets named and Dirksen gets dropped, then obviously you don't want him. So depending on team sheets, but if Wiedering got named and Dirksen got named, I think he's reasonable going down. Do I think he's going to score 67 every week? Maybe not, but we're kind of hanging out for a rookie in the defense, and there aren't many really to go this week. Like, I would like to get rid of Marshall, even if not this week, next week, but I don't really see any rookies except for the new mid-season draft rookie for Essendon, who could potentially play, and he's a 99k dude. So people are saying he's going to play, but I also heard someone said he might have a slight injury, a calf issue or something, where I looked on the injury list and he wasn't there, which is not surprising, but may hopefully if he plays next week, he could be one I might even go early on just to bank in on Marshall's money. Marshall has a break even on 68, and playing forward, I think he's going to struggle to get that 68. But it was a choice for me this week of getting rid of him or getting rid of a Selwood, who has a break even of 90, and I don't think Selwood would be 90. So I could potentially, if Selwood came out and scored like a 40, he might lose 25k. So had to get rid of Selwood this week, and I got straight up to Wilkie. So that's cured one of those spots. But then once my team is finished, well, once my team, is back to normal, I still have a glaring spot here, which I need to fill, which at the moment is Edwards, Dirksen, or Marshall, which I would like to be Holmes or Whitfield or the Lizard or someone, like that. Probably Holmes, just because of the DPP, is the one that I'll be targeting after his bye, though. Darren, nice to see you, Darren. Thanks for joining us. Trades this week: Rochelle and Cook out, Banfield and Bazza Smith in. I think that's fine. So I think the best strategy for the buyers is to buy players coming off their bye. I think there are a couple exceptions, and the two exceptions are, one, if they're really good value. So you're like, Seano, you just said get players coming off their buys, but you're getting in Wilkie. I'm really talking from next week, not so much this week, but I'm getting Wilkie and a million people are getting Holmes. And I think these are two that meet the exceptions just because one's a really good value, Wilkie, and Holmes is probably your number one defender, and he'll get you through to round 16. So he's going to cover all the other buys, and he could potentially go big. If he goes big over the next few weeks, maybe his price goes up. He's got a break even around 100, and it's going to depend on where they play him too a little bit. He seems to score more in that midfield role, but still think there's a very good chance he's going to be D1 or D2. So I understand getting him. And the other ones I think I would make exceptions for either this week for the whole buying players. Because traditionally this is a round where you would not be getting in premiums. The only trades you would be doing is getting, banking up some money, getting in rookies. So the next couple of weeks you could buy premiums. But I also think that Darcy Cameron, if the new ruck, if we look at the, I've got it here ready to go for you, crew. Thanks to the in-between boys, the Supercoach Insight, the in-between the arcs guys for, making this. If Collingwood's, this Harrison Coe plays in the place of Steen, which he might do, Collingwood, they seem to like the two ruck system where they had Cameron and Steen in there. So I got a feeling this guy might get a go, whether it's this week or in the next few weeks. It's kind of rough to bring in a guy and then make him play AFL a few days later. The Eagles are the only ones that usually do that. But I got a feeling we might see him. But if we don't see him this week, I think Darcy Cameron at 400k is a great option to go, from McAndrew to Darcy Cameron is just basically they're pretty much the same price, but one guy's potentially gone he's gone 105 to 115 before, and don't think McAndrew's going to do that this year. So Cameron. So the only three that I'm saying that I would make exceptions for, and we're talking about in the back line, Jackson Artemis, defender for Essendon. I might go early if he's named next week just to get the money from, maybe or maybe not, to get the money from Marshall if I need it, but probably not. I'll probably wait, let Marshall see if Marshall can have a spike score or go back to defence. But we can come back to that, crew, if you want to have a bit more of a chat about that in a bit, which we will. We're still talking about the trades, but so they're the other value pick, which is also a premium, who I think I forgot to mention in my trades video. So if you haven't watched the trades video, or you have, is Dacos. if you don't have Nick Dacos, this is the week. At 515K, you buy Nick Dacos this week and you say, bugger the buys. You just buy him. So, what's his break even? His break even is 113. I guess you can wait a week, but you might as well get him this week, I would say. And if you ask me who's the priority over Dacos or Holmes, I think they're both very good. But if you don't have Dacos, I'll probably get Dacos before Holmes. That's just me, though. I think that can go both ways. So they're the four basically the two value options. I'll call Dacos a value at 515. I think he's very good value. So that's three value options. Then I think you've got a couple of very you can go the other side if you're going to get, also get other premiums this week which aren't going to come off there, which aren't coming off their buys. You get the best of the best. So Darren, you said you're thinking about getting Bailey Smith. I think that's okay. And he's got the round 16 buy. Do be aware of the buy. Don't forget to click on your buy button and count how many premiums you've got. Like I know that I getting Wilkie gets me. So Philippou will be gone, but he's not a premium anyway. I'll have a 1, 2, 3, 5. I got another one. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's one more than I want. But I'm willing to sacrifice that extra one to get Wilkie in at this price. And I understand if other people are willing to sacrifice to get Holmes and or Bailey Smith in. But I wouldn't be going any more than 6. Not unless you just want to win your leagues and you're prepared to tank that round. If you're going for overall score, I think you're much better to get players coming in off their buys. But, so I think Bailey Smith is fine. I think the absolute top of the lines are fine. So maybe Isaac Heaney is fine, but I wouldn't be buying too many others. Your boy, it's your boy Huss. I got it now. I get it. I always get everyone's name wrong. So we'll bring out, where's Ralph? Where's Ralph when we need him?
Me fail English?
That's impossible. Sorry, your boy. So you're saying Oliver now after the buys? I'm saying after the buys, mate. It's not like Bailey Smith where his buys are a month away. Basically, he plays one game and then he has his buy. So I would be waiting to after the buys for Oliver. I do like Oliver as a pick, but I'd be waiting. The last thing you want is to get him in and then he gets, injured next week and then he's got and then he has his buy and he's out for 2 or 3 weeks later or something. Touch wood, that doesn't happen for the Oliver owners. I'm definitely looking at Oliver at myself, but it's just, for me, I want someone off the round 12 buy. How much is Oliver? He's been very affordable all year. 542. Good with a break even at 6. The thing, he does have a low break even. But I think you're going to have a lot of options, mate, after round 12. So even if he goes up, let's give him a good score of 120. Let's say he gets one. They're predicting 112. Let's say he gets 120. He'll go up 20K. So then you're going to have a choice of people like LDU, Noah Anderson. They're all going to be around 560K. So I think it's okay to wait. I think it's okay to wait. And also, I guess it also depends what else you're doing. Next week, like this week, I think you could potentially get away with a few of these buys. I mean, a few of these purchases, but I don't love it. I have to admit, I don't love it. Where are we up to, crew? Where are we up to? G-Bags, follow-up, last comment. I can use the extra cash to get McAndrew to an Uber Primo ruck or move Philippou to someone like Tracy or Jack Ross. Yeah. I don't... These moves these middle moves, like the Tracy or Jack Ross, I don't know I'll be doing that this week. Like I said, the only moves I'll be doing this week, you're getting the very best or someone who's super good value. I'm not going in between. Like even with the Bailey Williams, the picks and those type of things, I'm not going in between. I'd prefer to just sell my 2 rookies and keep the cash for, next week and then pick up one of the, pick up an Adelaide boy or pick up a North Melbourne guy. If you want a ruck, you pick up Sherry after his bye. And like I said, I do think the Cameron ploy is is a good ploy. He was an uber primo ruck last year. It's just whether they play that mid-season draft ruck, which I think that is possible. So I think it's a bit risky, but I think, I didn't do it. I went Grundy, and do I regret it? Maybe a little bit, but I've got Grundy in my team, so I don't mind so much. So I can't really knock anybody else for going the big boy ruck option because I did it myself. But I think if I went back in time and tried to be the smart version of myself, if that exists, I probably would have gone Darcy Cameron, and then I would have an extra 270k in the bank. That's almost 2 more premiums and finishes off my team. If I chuck that 270k on top of two other players, plus any money I had in the bank or with the rookies I did downgrades this week, that's almost 3 upgrades where where instead I'm getting one guy where I could have potentially got 3 guys. So just do your math. But if you're at a terrible rank line like I am and you're like, I just want a captain option or whatever, I totally understand. I did it because I'm hoping for some huge peak scores out of Grundy, which can, drag me up the rankings and win my league matches for me. Great input referring Dirksen. Yeah, I think that's Dirksen. I really hope he holds. He looked okay. It's just the whole Wiedering situation. Obviously, Wiedering is the man there. He will come straight back into the team. Now, we know Dirksen kicked 5 goals in the VFL the other week, and he's played back and forward. So I'm kind of hoping they're just like, the new coach is like, yay, we'll give him a go somewhere else. We'll keep him on the bench, maybe lose somebody else. At least he's nice and flexible for them, right? They can swing him forward. They can swing him back if they have an injury. I'm hoping his flexibility keeps him in the team. Speaking of coaches, the old Brad Scott is gone, eh? The Essendon guy is injured. Yeah, Lansy, I don't know where you found out that information from, but if you can tell me where you found it out, I'll go and have a look at it. Not playing this week. Someone said a calf issue. So that's a shame because he is one of the ones, as we bring that up, him and the 2 Eagles guys, I think, are the most likely to play. Like, both of these Eagles guys look pretty good. The Oliver Franco and the Marcus Herbert, and they both got very good, scoring potential in the lower leagues for Supercoach. So I think we looked a lot better team with Dev Robertson in the team. So I think one of these guys could get a run pretty early. And I'm hoping probably not this week, but next week I'd love to see 1 or 2 of these guys named. And Essendon, new coach, does that make a difference? Maybe he's just going to play the rookies. I mean, obviously I sold Elijah Sardis a few weeks ago, but I was very, very angry. If you watched my previous videos, I did the big rant about Brad Scott. Kind of glad he got fired because he destroyed my Supercoach week and pretty much my team for quite a bit, where he took out 3 rookies in one, destroyed 3 rookies in one match. So I'm pretty happy that Brad Scott's fired. We got any Essendon fans here? Got any Essendon fans here? Who do you want as coach? Do you want Hurdy as your coach? The question I have, I think Hurdy's a good guy. I think he could be a good coach, but the massive scandal, can you go back there? Obviously, they seem to think they can, but he was the coach. He must have known, he's got to have known what was going on back in the scandal days. Like, you can't tell me he knew nothing. I'm not saying that he was there saying, yeah, inject them all the time, but with such a massive scandal and destroyed the club for pretty much they're still suffering now for it because of the penalties put on them. So can you go back there? I mean, obviously, I'm pretty sure most Essendon people are saying yes, you can, but I don't know. I don't know if it was my team. Maybe if I thought he was a hero and everything, and he played for the Eagles and he was a, you know, what he was for the club, maybe I could. But anyway, I'm not too sure if I could go there. Where have you been this whole? Thank you, your boy. Thank you very much for the support. Everyone's been very supportive this year. So yeah, thanks for all the subs and thanks for everything. As you see, we got the schedule up there to at least my review video and my trades and captains video, and we'll do the live stream on every Thursday. And if we'll sneak another live stream in, or if something important comes up and I think you guys need to know, I might throw out another video. But we try to get those 3 videos done every week. And the live stream, as you regulars will know, that one week we do it in the evening after the match. So next week it'll be directly after the Thursday night match. And the next week it'll be at this time during the day, just because that's my work schedule and I can't get around it. So I know it's this is a bit of a strange time. You're having lunch or at work or whatever. Hopefully you're, I'm not going to tell your boss if you've got me on the one side of the PC and, every time he walks past, just pretend like you're doing some work. I won't tell if you won't. Lancy says, thoughts on getting Heaney this week for rank? Got to get rid of him because of his injury. Yeah. I mean, you're going up to the big dogs, which is fine. Now, they still haven't given us a proper timeline on ranks injury. So I could be inclined to hold. But the fact they haven't, calf to be concerned, you probably should be concerned, to be confirmed. Yeah, a moderate calf strain would which I pretty much said you can't really trust them too much. How long to heal a moderate calf strain? Timeline 4 to 6 weeks. So if I knew it was going to be 4 to 6 weeks, I'd probably say it's okay to trade. But I don't believe anything they say in injury reports. Maybe Adelaide's better, but people like Geelong, I wouldn't believe their injury report if it was written on. You might as well write it on toilet paper and put it in for all it makes sense. And even Freo last week I think they wrote theirs on toilet paper and put it in as well and forgot to leave. They left off Caleb Sarong, as a few poor owners found out. But I think you're not going, if you said I'm going ranking to Bailey Williams, I'd be like, no, because you're getting Heaney, and I assume he suits your buy structure well. It's a pretty good buy for a lot of those premiums. So I guess it's okay. Again, I think this is the last week. If you're getting in premiums or whatever, this is the last week you want to do it before you're only getting people in off the buy. Because you've got to look at it this way, right? So if whoever you get in, that you want them to score, if you're getting in the big dogs, the Heenies or the Holmes, or if you haven't got Bont and you're getting in Bont, or if you're getting in Grundy or whatever, they need to outscore someone through that buy round period who's on the round 12 buy. So 13, 14, 15, 16 for 4 rounds, their score for those 4 rounds, so they get to play 3 matches out of the 4, or actually 4 if you include round 12. They have to outscore the other person that's already played their bye coming through. So they have to pretty much be so good that they're going to outscore the other person who's playing one more match. So getting him now, it's fine. That's why this week's okay. After next week, I'm saying no, none of these Smith or, Heaney picks, I'll be saying no to all of them next week. The only people I'll be endorsing next week are people off their bye. So this week, you get that one extra week. You get this week, which makes a bit of a difference. So then you can almost say that what I just said then is null and void, because then they're kind of playing 4 matches each. The players who are missing this week, where you're going to have the primo that you're buying in for this week. So it's 4 matches versus 4 matches. If the Bailey Smith is better than, Rank, which obviously looks like he will be, even though I do think Rank, if he comes back and plays that same role as he had before, he is a top 3 or 4 forward. But yeah, calves, you never like an injury where it's, running around, affects their running around, especially if their job is running around a lot like it is in AFL. Yeah, you saw it on Twitter. Some journo reported the injury to Artemis. Lansy says he thinks Essendon should start fresh with a new coach. To be honest, too much baggage to bring back in, herd back in. Yeah, I have no connection to Essendon. I care pretty much nothing about Essendon. This is just my outside opinion, but I think it's kind of the same too. But I've also heard quite a few Essendon supporters who are like content creators. Yeah, there's quite a few content creators that are Essendon supporters, and they all seem to kind of feel the same. They would prefer, they don't mind Herd, but they would prefer somebody new and somebody in the system at the moment at a performing team, which probably sounds a better way to go. Minimum 3 weeks for Rank. Yeah, I'm not too sure where you heard that, Lansy. 3 weeks I keep. This is what I would say, because he's got the buy anyway. 3 weeks I'll probably keep. At 4 weeks I'll probably sell. And it also depends on your trades too. If you got 12 trades like I have, I'd probably just risk looking at him for 1 more week. And hopefully it's not a Noah Anderson situation where he comes back. I thought Noah Anderson would definitely miss more than, 1 week. And so I sold him, and then he came back, and now he's smashing 140s, and I want to buy him back. Probably lose 60K on him if I buy him back. G-Bags, thoughts on holding Rank? Yep. Bullish that he'll finish top 6 forward and want to complete your side before moving him on. So we just had that whole conversation. I think it's fine to hold, but it would be really nice if we had a better timeline. Like if it said 4 weeks, I'd be a little bit worried. But at 3 weeks, I think hopefully I've learned my lesson now. 3 weeks is a hold, and for next year, 3 weeks will be a hold, especially for, his injury being a foot and a calf industry worries me a little bit. That maybe he comes back in and he doesn't get if he comes back in and he doesn't get that midfield time again straight away, then he might not score you what you want when he comes back in. So I understand selling him, but I would also think that holding is fair, at least for 1 week, until you get a little bit more. If they came out in a week's time and said he's going to be 4 weeks from then maybe that's the time to go. But yeah. Hey, Brody, how you going? Yeah, Sherry's a weird one, right? Sherry's a weird. I don't really know what's going on, and I'm still not, because he's been a bit of a. Oh, wait, should we get out the? Yeah, we'll get it out for him, just for him. This is what we think about Sherry.
You are so stupid. Am I?
Yes.
Idiot!
There we go. Hope that didn't deafen you guys too much. Yeah, because he was a bit of an idiot when he rubbed his blood all over the opponent, and he's been out a while. I think the jury is still out on whether he's got some really good scores here. Then he's got a 68 and an 87. He's still going to be really good, but I got a feeling he might be a little bit more likely to be a bit more up and down than these other key rucks. If it's not a very contested type game, he doesn't have the other avenues that the people like Gawn and Grundy do, who run around and get more possessions, and maybe, Gawn goes down the line and takes intercept marks and kicks goals, and Grundy just runs all over the place and, outworks his opponent. Jackson kind of does the same, runs all over the place, outworks his opponent, can go down forward and kick goals. Sherry's got, when it's a high contested game and there's lots of stoppages around the ground, he's not so great in the middle now, we've discovered. And even this week they used, if you look at the CBAs this week for North, I think I already had it here. So they were way down and they used a bit of Trembar, which I don't know why. Trembar is basically your best forward almost at the moment, so I don't know why they would do that. But they won the game, and they used a little bit of Will Dawson as well. So, obviously they don't love him in the CBAs, and they would like somebody else to use the CBAs. So that's not going to have a massive effect if he dominates around the rest of the ground. But if it's a free-flowing type game, like the one was in, I think it was the Essendon game, that his score might be down a little bit. So I still think he's going to be very good. I still think he's going to smack out some huge scores. When, like I said, when he plays the Eagles and BJ Williams, don't be surprised if he doesn't crush him around the ground. But yeah, it could be up and down. It could be a little bit up and down. Is this LDU or is this? Oh, this is LDU. I've been looking at quite a few. Like I said, I was researching LDU and Rowell and Anderson. And if you like me, I don't know. I was tempted to go Rowell because after what he did last year, but the stats are telling me to go Anderson. So, yeah, I would be definitely looking at Sherry again this week. I'd be looking at how they play him. I'd be looking at his time on ground. I'd be looking at all of that stuff, and I'd be weighing up that score that he gets. And then I would probably also look at his upcoming fixture. So if we were to do that and see the games that he is really going to dominate. Oop, going to have a hissy fit? No, here we go. So he's got a break even. So you're definitely not getting him in now. You're getting him in after your bye. But so after his bye, he's got Fremantle, which is probably going to be a little bit a tougher matchup. West Coast, he's going to crush. Richmond, he'll probably crush. Essendon, he'll probably crush. Port Adelaide, Sweet's been doing okay, but he'll probably crush. Collingwood, if Darcy Cameron is the number one ruck, that's probably a reasonable contest. And he's got Gawn, reasonable. The dual guys at St Kilda, reasonable. Hawthorn, that's a reasonable matchup. Reasonably. When I say reasonable, I mean it's going to be a bit trickier than not really easy. Western Bulldogs might have English back, where it'll be a fair. And then Geelong, he'll crush. And then Sydney, he's got Grundy. So his run is okay coming out of the buys, I would think, where he's probably going to get some really big scores. But then, he's got some reasonably good ruckman in this, the back half of the season. Plus, if the games aren't very contested, maybe that's going to hurt him a little bit. But we are coming into winter, more rain, more contention, more stoppages. I think he's going to be okay. Just expect that he might get you an 80 or a 90 where you want a 120 or a 130 occasionally. But so that's why I would think that get him when his price comes down. If you can get him for under 600, yeah, buy him. Yep. So I think for what he can deliver for under 600, if he gets 118, when he comes back, say he has a couple of average, say Bailey Williams can actually, jump into him a few bit. You could get him 600K, and I think it's 600K for what he can actually put out. There aren't too many players in the league that are capable of putting out 150 pluses regularly, so I think it could be okay. Just want to definitely have a look and make sure they're not trying a dual ruck, but way in any way but if they can do a dual ruck situation, but only if the other ruck is like a Max Heath where he only goes to centre bounces. They have one ruck that only goes to centre bounces and Sherry is on the rest of the time, then I think Sherry will be fine. If they started doing like a 60-40 split or something like they do at St Kilda, then I would be worried. Hey, Will, how are you? Good to see you, mate. Yeah, so we've just been talking about Artemis. Apparently he's injured, so I want to know, I mean, even though they must really rate him, the fact that you're getting in a player that's injured. The whole point of the mid-season draft is cover your injuries, right? But obviously Essendon must feel like they're happy with the players they've got, and he's so good that they're prepared to wait for him. So I wouldn't be getting him in this week. If he's named next week or the week, and or the week after, going early on him, as long as you are happy to have a 0 on your field if something goes wrong, I think it could be a play. I'm even considering it. You might see in my team, I've got Marshall sitting here, who I would really like Marshall's 100K, 150K from a 99K player. Considering as a forward, I don't think he's going to struggle. I think he will struggle to get his break even at 68. So if Artis was to play next week, I would consider going like Marshall down, but I wouldn't be going there this week. Yeah, that's just me. Brody, C-Tog was an 80s, now it's in the 60s the last 3 weeks. Do you think after his bye he's a must? I don't think he's a must at 630. I think he could get down to 600. I don't think he's a must. I looked at it and I chose to pay up for Grundy. But I think he'll be a very solid pick. And just keep an eye. We won't get to see him this week, will we? So that's unfortunate. We won't get to see how. So I would wait one more after his bye and just see, because he doesn't play this week. Wait one more after his bye. Have a look at these times split. If there's still a split ruck, then maybe he's not the man. And like I said, I might even prefer if the young ruck at the same time, if that young ruck from Collingwood isn't named, I mean, I really would be tempted. If I had, if I didn't go Grundy last week, I'd probably be getting Darcy Cameron this week. And I know Grundy, what he did last year, and I'm hoping he does that for me again, but I kind of regret not going Darcy Cameron last week. Hopefully by the end of the season, I'll be able to turn that around and say, no, I was correct. I went Grundy. Spending up was good. But Darcy, for what he can put out, there aren't many players that are 410K or whatever Cameron is, who can easily average 115 for the, for the rest of the year if they play him as a solo ruck. And I think that's a big if. 133, and he can go huge. He can be, he could easily be a 110 average, 115 average player if playing as a solo ruck. And just look at that, BJ Williams did well, but also Cameron did very well against BJ Williams. So that makes me think that rucks like Sherry or whatever are still going to crush BJ Williams. As he has an easy run. Yep, he does have an easy run. But I think it could even pay to wait 1 week, Lansey, because of his break even so high. You might get him at 600K. Do you prefer the points? I guess that'll be what you'll have to decide. Do you want to go for the points straight away in that round? And it might help you to do that. It might be worth paying up that extra 30K just to get the points. Damn, thanks. Yeah, about Artemis, Will. Yeah, don't go him this week. I'd be interested. I really hope. I don't think they will, but I think the last 2 years in a row, the Eagles have brought in their mid-season draft player straight away. But I think our team this year actually has a little bit of depth, and I don't think they will do it this year. I'm pretty sure McCarthy played the first week, and I'm pretty sure Ryan Marrick played the first week that they were at the club. We were so desperate for depth in the last couple of years in the mid-season draft. But this year with the Eagles, I think that They've got a little bit more depth, and they might let the guys learn the system a little bit more. But I can see a Dev Robertson replacement, and then, them moving like maybe Yo out of the midfield back to the back line again a little bit, or Kelly a bit more forward. In saying that, though, the Eagles have been pretty competitive the last few weeks. Do you really want to change the team? So I hope they do, because I want a 99K rookie, but then in the same breath, I kind of hope they don't, because we've been playing very well, and why change a winning formula? Brody, as former Cluggage, my faith is pretty good that he's going to bounce back. The issue is when. My issue is when. All his stats look good. Like he had 16 possessions at halftime last week. Like he was killing it possession-wise. He was just butchering it. Like he had 5 clangers at the same time. So, and then I think, I'm not too sure what happened. He had no center bounce attendance. If we have a quick look at him, let's do a little bit of a deep dive into him, and then we'll get into showing your team's crew. We'll get into your teams after that. Because I've looked into this quite a bit. I looked into it before I bought him, and then afterwards I kind of looked into it a little bit. So he's gone 57 and 47. That's disgusting. And have we got 40 scores up? Round 11. So if we look at him, way down the bottom, of course, I think in the last quarter too, they basically, he got 14 points in the last quarter. It felt like they took away all these CBAs though. So over the whole game, he had 53% CBAs, but I'm pretty sure we look at the last quarter, he's got none. So I think they kind of rested him. I'm not sure, but it feels like they rested him or put him on a wing and just said, listen, the game's over. GWS kicked 1 million goals in the third quarter. Don't, you just have a rest. Before that, he had 60% in quarter 3, only 29% in quarter 2. That's interesting. And 92% in quarter 1. So I looked at this 92%, and I was like, he's on fire. But he had 6 clangers. Like, ugh. That's going to tank your score every single day of the week. But his stat line besides the clangers reads all right. 23 disposals, 15 kicks, 8 handballs. That's close to 100 for McCluggage most days. Take away the clangers, that's close to 100. Couple of marks, couple of tackles. And we know he's a goal kicker, and he hasn't really been able to. He's just been a little bit off the last couple of weeks. So I'm hoping he comes back, but I wouldn't advise buying him now. I mean, I bought him when I thought he turned a corner, and he doesn't seem to have turned that corner as much as I had hoped. His time on ground has, and his CBA's had, but I think he's still a little bit not so clean with he's still catching up on the pace of the game, maybe. Not as clean as what he was. He hasn't quite got the goal sense that, where I've seen a few times where I think he kicked it straight out of bounds on the full the other week. And then I saw another one where he was in front and he ran across a goal. It wasn't an easy goal, but it was a goal you would expect a lot of players to get, and he missed that as well. So I don't think you can sell him. I think you just wait. He could be a nice, flex position player if he starts to hit form in a few weeks. And if he doesn't, well, then we cross that bridge when we get to it. But I think all the stats say he can score good. He's just got to clean up his possessions a little bit. And, can't do much worse than what he's doing now. So I think there's a good chance by the end of the season he's turning up regularly, but it's just when. Is it going to be in the next couple of weeks, or is it going to be, if it's 5 or 6 weeks away, it's a disaster. If he can start turning up like within this week or the next week, then it will be okay. Will, you reverse trade. You got Ison and Banfield for the cash grab. I really like like I was a bit worried about Bamfield's job security, but the thing that made me very happy is when I looked at the team lineup. So last week I went back to, if we go back to round 11 and we look at St Kilda, so he was named on the bench last week. We go to this week. So we've got 2 players coming in, not Higgins, which is one that worries me a little bit, but still got 2 players coming in, but he's named on the field. It is at full forward, but it's on the field, which makes me think that that's good. When Higgins does come back, maybe a Liam Henry goes out instead of him, or maybe that makes me a little bit more confident. So I was a bit worried about his job security, but it makes me a lot more confident. And Ison, Ison just looks good, and I think Carlton would be stupid to drop him. So I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So those 2 guys are almost locks as trades this week. And I think it's fair if you just want to do those 2 trades and get a little bit of coffer of money for the next few weeks. A lot of people will tell you that you have to upgrade every week, and that's just not the case. It depends on how you're playing and what you're playing for. Really, I don't even need to trade this week. Check this out, crew. Check this out. So my game day against my good friend Matt, one of my best mates, Matt, he's predicted to score 1,300 because look at the big space here. Look how many buy players he has out on this round. He's got 1 million. My blue dots, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in total. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's got 10. Now, we usually only count premiums, but that hurts him. That hurts him bad. So I could potentially win my league just by just by trading. I don't have to get in Wilkie, but I'm thinking about the further rounds where I want Wilkie in. But, if you're in a situation like me and you're playing for leagues like that, you don't need, you can wait. You can wait till next week. Grundy looked gas. Wouldn't be surprised if Sydney potentially rest him this week. They better not. I'll be very, very upset if after getting him in. Hopefully not, Lanzy. Hopefully not. But if I got him in last week and paid $6.80 for him and he gets rested this week, I would be a little bit disappointed. I think, don't forget, they really teamed up on him, not just a double team. They had 4 rucks play on him, and he didn't really have much of a chop out. So I'm not surprised he looked gassed because they had 4 guys. Every time, he walked out on the field, there was another guy there waiting. Now, he wasn't they're not the best rucks in the world, but running him around and giving him a hard time. So, they really worked him over, and I think that's where he got why he got a 95. They just, the weight of numbers, like the stacks on. They did the old stacks on to Grundy, and it was just too much for him. So, I won't say maybe he needs a little bit of help in there, but because that might ruin his scoring potential. But you know how it goes. Hopefully not. So let's get into having a look at your team's crew. So Michael put his team in after the game, as he usually does last week, which is saying McKercher, Houston, Walsh and Murdoch to Holmes, Merritt, Edwards and Bamfield, leaving 300k in the bank. Don't we think I'd be going Edwards, mate? If you haven't already, I'd be going Ison if you haven't already gone. I probably went him early, did he? Don't know if I'd be going Edwards. He's putting Edwards in there. If he gets named, I mean, I need a defender. So, but I don't think he's a great scorer. I don't know if I think that that's great. Any Adelaide supporters here? Played 6 and 7, then he's been dropped 8. Or he's been injured, so he might not. He's probably not even in the team. If he gets named, but I don't love that scoring. But he has got. Did we say he's got DPP? He has got DPP, which is interesting. If you're getting him as a non-playing player, then maybe Michael. But yeah, I don't know if I'd be getting him. You've already got ice on. Also, too, I didn't want to mention, this is why I wanted a boost, sorry. This is why I wanted a boost into the buys. A lot of people will tell you it's good to use all your boost before the buys. No, I really don't think that's correct. You want at least one boost in the buys. Next week this week is a good week for you to boost. Next week, potential, because we've got a couple of rookies, available. If you could have gone 2 down, 2 up, like I see some people doing, like he is doing, that's awesome this week, great. And the same as like if you're in round like 13 or 14 and there's a couple of 99k rookies, or there's 2 rookies, and you can pick up, the players, the GWS players, and all the players from round 12, and potentially Richmond players if you can find any of them, maybe a Taranto. Having a boost during the buys is very, very valuable. Being able to do 4 trades, 4 is better than 3. 4 is better than 3, and it can really help you out if there's a situation where there's there might be a value pick you really need, or it might even be 3 rookies. Three down, 1 up. You stack. A lot of money. Like if Edwards came out and play, you could potentially go 3 down. Is that what he's done? He's gone 3 down. No, he's gone. He did he's getting rid of some of the crap. What he thinks is crap in his team, like McKercher and Houston and Walsh and Murdoch. Wow. I don't know if I'd be doing that. I don't know if it sounds like he's selling he's selling the farm. McKercher, Houston, Walsh, and Murdoch for Holmes, Merritt, Edwards, and Banfield. Maybe able to get Heaney and Baz using a boost. Yeah, I think you just got to hold people like Walsh, unfortunately, I think. You actually you're doing okay in the rank. You're in top 10%. No need to destroy your team at the moment. If you want to upgrade those guys, if you want to upgrade a Houston or I got rid of Houston last week. He's been disgusting and he's terrible with Howe in the team. So I'd probably still keep him this week though, and then turf him before his buy, or turf him for a Malera or someone like that coming off there, or a Holmes. If you went Houston to Holmes this week, I probably couldn't debate it. Considering I went Houston to Grundy last week, who am I to say that that's bad? Anyway, Michael, that's a big play you're doing there. Now, this is Cowie. Now, if you see your team, if you got your team here in chat, please let me know. Oh, and also, if you haven't already liked, now is the time to like. Now is the time to like. How many likes do we have? We have 9 likes, but we have 19 people watching. So 10 of you out there, time to like. Cowie, how are you? Thoughts on these trades as I'm planning on getting Dawson and Nando to finish out your midfield next week. Then the Grundy C hurt last week. Yeah, hurt me too, buddy. Hurt me too. So Roberts, Whitfield, Holmes, Sinclair, Clark, Lindsay. I think that's fine as a back line. You got lots of coverage here. I really like your back line. You rank 1,125, so congratulations. That's an awesome rank, mate. I think I won't call it a completed defense, but your defense is good enough. Your defense is good enough that it can wait until you fill this Lindsay position. I still feel Lindsay has a very good role and can get anywhere between, well, he got a 50 last week, which I think but he had 47 at halftime. So he can get you 100 or an 80 or a 90 on a decent game, especially depending on how much McCarthy steals his ball. And then if they get this new defender guy to come back and steal his ball, it might hurt him a little bit too. So, but I think you can wait off on selling Lindsay, and he can still get you a very decent rookie score, better than some of the other rookies. Smith, Bont, Heaney, Davey, LDU, Dacos. Then he said he wants Jordan Dawson and Isaac Heaney. Is that right? Dawson and Nando. He likes the Nandos. He likes Nandos too. So that finishes off, and then he's got Butters come back on the field. That finishes off his midfield, so he's got a completed midfield. Looks good. He's got Grundy, Jackson. He's already got Sherry. And then He's got Petrarca comes back on, and he's got a couple of. He's just got to complete his forward line. I really like this guy's team. I really, really like your team. I will. I will go and look it up in the league section if I can. So he's played this right. He's finished up his back line. He's finishing up his midfield. He's doing the opposite to me. He's actually playing Supercoach like he's supposed to play Supercoach. You're supposed to fill up the midfield and the back line first, and then fill up the forward line. And some idiot named Seano filled up his forward line and has still got big holes in his back line and his midfield. So then you're going to be able to pick off whatever forwards you like. Whatever forwards at about, you'll get decent ones at 450k, and your team's going to be in a very, very good position to push for the end of the season. And this is a team even where I would say I don't mind selling Lindsay in the next couple of weeks. And when it gets to his bye, if he can sell Lindsay and get another gun defender who can score, 100 pluses, and just still leave his forward line a little bit light. Yeah, I would do that, or I would get rid of Philippou. Either do that. Philippou, if I had to get rid of Philippou or Lindsay, I'm probably trading Philippou, and that's what I'll be doing next week. But that's just my opinion. But probably, I don't think Philippou is a 70-plus player when Nas comes back. I think he's a 60 to 70 player. And he needs to score goals to get these 80s. So I'm where Lindsay doesn't need to score goals. He just needs to actually keep getting the kick-outs, which hopefully don't get taken off him, or McCarthy doesn't, hope he's still on. So I really like his team. I think he's in a great position to push deep into, where is he at 1,000? I wouldn't be surprised if he plays it right. He could finish in top 500 easy, maybe even higher than that. So well done, mate. Good luck. I hope you keep doing well. Landsy, here you are, buddy. In Heaney, Holmes, and Boundfield, and Ison. Yep, so you've got a boost as well. See, these people have got boosts. I wish I had a boost. I had to use it the other week. Unfortunately, I didn't have much option. I was kind of forced into using it. But yeah, I wish I kind of did have a boost this week. Heaney, Holmes, for Banfield and Ison. That sounds awesome. And Lombard, Marshall, Rank, and Lindsay out. As I said, if you're going Holmes to Lindsay gets you Holmes, fine. I think you can hold Lindsay, but if he gets you Holmes, fine. So Roberts, Whitfield, Holmes, Sinclair, Clark, and Houston. Yep, you poor bastard. You got Houston. I'm so happy that I got rid of Houston. I was disappointed with Grundy. I say it. I was pretty disappointed with Grundy's score, but I was pretty happy that I sold Houston to get Grundy. So I was happy but unhappy. Butters, Bont, Heaney, Merritt, Dacos, Callahan, Sarong, which hopefully he'll be back soon, and Rashenko. So, maybe only one potential, upgrade needed here. Grundy, Gorn, Sheezel, Petrarca, Flanders, Pickett, Philippou, Murdoch, and Anderson down there. Again, another nice-looking team, ranked 14,000, which I think is very respectable, top 10%. So, yeah, I think nice-looking team, mate. I think you have got some decent options. Did you let me? Yeah, you got in Heaney and Holmes. It makes your team look a little bit more powerful with Heaney and Holmes in there. Potentially some good scores coming for you, mate. And yeah, just you've got a finished defense line, which maybe you want to do something about Houston in the future, but in the meantime, you either keep him and or dump him at his bye. If you really want to get rid of him, dump him at his bye. Hey Jay, how are you? In Holmes, Bamfield, and Darcy Cameron out. Selwood, Robertson, and Rank. Do you think I should? Do you think you should hold fire on Darcy Cameron and spend up for Sherry or Dogger 15 trades left playing for cash leagues? Ooh. The question is, does Darcy Cameron, like I said, I think I probably should have gone Darcy Cameron last week, but I went Grundy. Does Darcy Cameron get you 2 guns? If he gets you, if it makes you afford 2 guns, if you get Sherry and then that means you're only getting the 1 gun and you have to hold on for 3 or 4 weeks so you can afford another gun, I probably think Darcy Cameron is worth a risk for a cash league, and then chuck that money in your, in your midfield or in your defense on the best possible players you can get who are going to score the highest. Like, use that money that you saved to get Bailey Smith, or, you got Max Holmes in your back line. So whoever, Noel Rand or whoever, Noel Anderson, you got him already, very nice. Someone else you think you could score really big. So you've got, Jay, I think you've got a really nice looking team here, to be honest. Your defense is pretty much finished. Hopefully Clark and Worrell can, hold it up, but you're just going to have to live with them, I think, and hope that they turn it around and start scoring big. You got McCluggage again, which hopefully he can start scoring big. So you only really need 1 midfielder. So, and then your forward line, you've still got Jagger Smith. Really wish I could have kept him. Again, my team wasn't in the position to do that. So you're a bit light in the forward line, but I don't mind it because it's a forward line. So if you can, somehow you don't have Murdoch anymore. Yeah, I think if I was you, I'd be looking, if it's a cash league, I'd be looking to get, Rashenko's not a bad scorer, so he's okay there for a little bit. Get one of these rookies up to one of these 450k forwards. And then once you've got 1 player, because don't forget, with the flex, it only counts 22 players. So if you've got 1 rookie, if you got like me or Jay here, and you've got a big ruck here, and it's not a rookie here, one of these guys, more than likely, his score's not going to count for the moment. And by the end of the season, hopefully you have, 2 primos, or in his case, 3 primos here. But one of them's not going to count. So as long as you get, I'd say, 1 here and 1 there, you can always have a forward that's not, whether it be a Banfield or a Lombard or a Marshall, whoever you want to play. Don't forget, this week, buddy, you should be loopholing. You should have Banfield. This is a team that's put in, I think you just put in today, right, Jay? Are you still with us? Banfield should be on the bench. Oh, no. Doesn't matter because you don't have enough players to cover. Doesn't matter. If you can do loopholes this week, do loopholes this week. I can do one. What I mean is I can do 1 loophole. I can do, if Dirksen scores very well, I will put Marshall on for Edwards and I'll take Dirksen's score. If Dirksen does shit or is, not named, we'll have Edwards score. Some of you might be able to do that this week. So make sure you check that out and do it. Yep. So I think your team's in a really good spot, mate. I think if getting Darcy Cameron gets you those other big dogs and allows you maybe to upgrade one of these forwards or even a Rechenko to another big dog sooner, as long as it gets you to a primo guy, like if you're giving up Sherry, I think you want to make sure it allows you to get to Bailey Smith or something like that. The good thing is I don't think there are too many 400k players that can score what Cameron can, as long as there's no indication that new rookie guy is going to come in. But it's a risk, but if you were leading your cash league, I might go for Sherry. If you were a few back and you need to gain some ground, I might go Cameron. Let's put it that way. 70k in the bank. So I hope that helps out, mate. Yep. So also don't forget to look over the buys what you're up against. The difference between you winning your cash league, as long as they're playing through the buys, it could be these next few rounds through the buys. Don't forget to go. You go to your leagues, and then you go to whichever this is my league here, and then once you go in here, you can go results and fixtures, and you can see who you're playing further on. You can't do that through the game day section. So you can say, who am I going to play in round 15? I'm playing Mark, and I can click on Mark's team, and I can have a look at Mark's team, and I can see how many primos he's got out. I can see who he's got in his team. I can adjust myself to try and beat his team. And if I'm trying to win my league, so that's what I'm doing. And if you're trying to win cash leagues or your leagues, that's what you should be doing too. And you can either counter them by, if they've got a Bailey Smith and you don't, you can get a Bailey Smith. Like I look at Mark's team here, and I know because I wrote down that Mark has 3 people out on this buy, and I only have 2. And so that gives me a slight advantage over Kim unless he makes some trades. So definitely want to be doing that if you're not already doing that, my friend Jay. Now, Will Sharp Bombers. All right, so we can also have a look at your team in here by going to rivalries and make sure it's spelt right, please. Jamie, that would be you. Cooper Duff out for Banfield and Jakes. Will says Cooper Duff out for Banfield and Jakes out for Ison. I'm thinking, as mentioned earlier. Yeah, I'm probably getting rid of Cooper Duff as well. Unfortunately, I can't see your trades, which is why it's always better to stick it in Discord. But so you're saying Duff Tyler out for Banfield and Jake's out for Ison. Just the two money makers seems fine to me. If your flex is Jordan De Goey. Interesting. He had a good round last week, didn't he? So, yep, very nice. Where your overall rank, you're about where I am, mate. We're both sitting in the we're both bottom dwelling it this week. I think they are, bank some money and then buy in whoever you want off the buys next week. With your team, is there, I don't know how much money you've got, mate, but I think this week would be a reasonable week for you to think about. Instead of going, I don't know how you're getting Jakes to, you're getting a midfielder and a mid forward. So Banfield's going here for Cooper Duff Tyler. Then Jake's out for Ison. Have you got someone that can move back? How are you getting Jake's in for Ison? I was going to say, you could always think about doing the upgrade side as well. If you can get, you already got Holmes. You seem to have, do you have a lot out on that round 16 buy? Wooderick, maybe could you go up Jakes to a Wilkie instead? Can you? Sardis could come back. That'd be good. I wish I had kept Sardis. Still got Murdoch. What about Cook? Is Cook not cooked? 93 break even. Why wouldn't you go Cook and Duff Tyler out? Move Murdoch forward, get Banfield and Ison, and then go up if you can. Go up from either a Buderick or a Jakes to either like a Wilkie. You've got Holmes already, so you don't need to go there. But or bank that money for next week, and then next week in this position you get Malera or I don't think there are going to be too many great defenders next week. But even then, maybe you go up Anderson or Cummings. Maybe you keep Buderick. You got a 92, so it's not bad. But yeah, I'm happy that I'm no longer have to deal with Houston. It just Howe just hurt. Howe just came in and took all these kick-ins, and yeah, he still might score well. Don't get me wrong, he'll probably get 150 this week, but I'm just happy to see the back of him, and I was pretty happy. Even it made me happy. I'd got in Grundy, and he didn't score that very well, and I was still happy because I saw Houston's stupid score, and I was like, oh well, I'm just happy to be rid of him. Hey Mo, how do you go? Okay. Mo, you're saying, have we finished looking at Sharp? Sharp, besides that, I kind of like your team. Short's an interesting pick. After last year, I would have said I would have never gone there, but he's definitely enticing me a little bit. Nice pod pick. Hopefully, Stewart comes back a little bit. I've got Dacos as well. He got a bit of attention from Murdoch last week, so hopefully he can come back. I had the very unfortunate decision deciding who to get rid of out of Dacos, Houston, or Jordan Clark, who are all doing very bad. I had them all. And so, and I ended up choosing Houston, which was the right choice last week, but it probably won't be the right choice every week. Hope none of you crew out there are stuck like me with all of them. You got Humes, Oliver, Richards, McCluggage, Dersma, Smith, Rashenko, Anderson. Like if those trades you talked about get you a Bont next week, or I don't know if you can afford him this week, but McAndrew, Jordan DeGoey. Well, how does getting Williams, Mo? Oh, this is not your team. This is Will's team, I was going to say. So if I had your team, DeGoey, you can't. You could play DeGoey in the midfield. He's a mid. I'd be thinking about. I'd definitely be getting rid of Cook if I was you, Will. Cook would be my priority. Break even of 51, he could do that. Break even of 80, so it's high, but he could do that. Cook's break even of 90. I mean, he's on his buy though, so he's not going to lose money. I guess you could wait till next week. Yeah. I think I'd be, if I was you, buddy, I don't know how you were going to get Banfield and Ison by using Jakes, but I'd probably just be going Cook and Duff Tyler for you. And the same as Duff Tyler might come back and play this week, but I don't know if keeping him is worthwhile when there's that money there. He just doesn't seem to going to want to score a big score playing as a forward, even though he'll get one eventually, like he did at the beginning, right? He got 100 at the beginning in his second or third game, and since then he scored like 40 every game. So I don't think we can wait around for Duff Tyler to come to potentially have to get 2 spike scores in a row, which might never happen. Did that help you at all, buddy? Will, did that help you at all? So Mo says your team is Kangapoos. Skippy might be offended, mate. Ooh, Mike, what should Mo? I got 2 here, buddy. One's let's spell it correctly because you should be online. Rob, what's your name, Mo? Is it this one? Are you ranked 20,000? The one with the blue. The one with the blue. There we go. Do you pay up for Grundy or swap McCann? I don't, like I talked about before, I don't love Williams as a pick. It could work out, but it could turn to shit. I would prefer Cameron, Darcy Cameron over BJ Williams. Who's your flex? Todd Marshall. Overall rank 20,000. It's not bad. It's close to the top 10%. So let's have a look. Your defense line is kind of finished with the couple of frauds here, and you got Will Lindsay who can score okay. So your defense is okay. Butters, Bont, Holmes, LDU, Dacos, Walsh, Dersma, and you've got lots of coverage here. You've got lots of guys making you money. Dersma, break up 72, you can get decent scores. Sardis hopefully comes back with the new coach. So your midfield looks okay. You got Gorn. Yeah, you're definitely time to do something about your ruck line. So I don't hate getting Grundy. You know, if you can afford him, you could do a straight swap to Cameron if you would like to invest that money somewhere else. I guess that's the choice, isn't it? You either go the midfielders, the rucks have been super consistent this year, but they're expensive. So I don't hate the fact of going there. I went there. So I think it's really a personal pick. If you, and like I said before, if getting the Bailey Williams or getting the Darcy Cameron allows you to do 2 upgrades somewhere else. So if you buy in say you get, which I don't know how much Williams is, but say it's Cameron, it's 400k. That saves you 260k or whatever from Grundy. If you put that 260k, put some on the top of Dersma, and in a week or two's time, put some on the top of Rashenko, you've got yourself 3 primos instead of 1 primo, which in the long run, well, it should help your team. In the short run, it should really help your team. In the long run, if Grundy goes on a run like he did last year and he scores 150 every week, you'll probably regret it. But in the short run, you're getting 3 primos instead of 1 primo over a 3-week period or something, so, or a 4-week period. It'll allow you to upgrade your team quicker. In theory, Supercoach is a money game, and most years, this year has been a real outlier year. Most years, you would pick the Darcy Cameron pick every day of the week because it allows you to spread more money over your entire team, get more primos. You would get to a full primo earlier. You would have potentially a primo in your flex position, and you would score more. But this year, it's either you got the ruck that goes 180. Just look at Grundy the other week. If you had Grundy when he scored 200, you won. You won your league. You moved up 10,000 spots or whatever normally. You just killed, it just killed the people that didn't have him. Like I didn't have him that week and it killed me. I lost everything. I lost my matches. I dropped 10,000 spots in rankings. It really, really hurt. Now, there hasn't been too many years in the past where, that's been a case. Most years, your midfielders here, like your Butters are scoring you 120 every week. Your Bont's scoring you 120 every week. Your Holmes is scoring you 115. Like your LDU or the equivalent 115, 120. This year, Dacos gets you 80 one week, he gets you 120 the next. Bont's been pretty consistent, but then he also drops to an 80, Walsh can struggles to get to 100 every week. It's a little bit different this year where the big scoring in the ruck has really benefited when they go big so far. So I can't begrudge you getting Grundy. My head says do Cameron, not Williams, but if you really want Williams, go Williams. Don't let me talk you out of it. I guess I might be a little bit biased being an Eagles supporter and I just haven't seen him being consistent before. But yeah. So that's what that's if you're banking the cash, who are you going to get? Because you're not really making any money, right? You're not making any money. It's going because Williams is more than that, right? He's like slightly more. You're just going to spend it. So 430, you're saving the money for after people have played their buys. Yeah, that's the way you play with your head. But whether that, you know, then I say that's how you should play. And then Grundy comes out and scores a 180 this week in a good matchup. And then, you know, and I guess the other really thing you need to consider, do you have what you regard as a decent captain option and vice captain options? That's one of the reasons I bought Grundy in, because I was like, he gives me, the rucks are really being a nice options for captains this year. And if you smash a few captain scores out of the park, that really helps you rank. Like we talked about with the Grundy scoring 200, people who had that helped them immensely. So, I mean, if you want another big captain option, go Grundy and just pray that he hits those 150s every week. And once you buy him, you pretty much have to vice captain or captain him, and when a decent matchup comes up, and hope that he does that. So I think both ways are viable. I think this year you can go, spend up for the guys who are going to be consistently big scorers, but then he did score a 95 last week. So I don't know, it's tricky. It very much is tricky. I went the Grundy option, and I kind of think I should have gone the Cameron option, but in a couple of weeks I might have changed my mind. If Grundy gets 160, if he gets 180, and I've got him as vice captain this week, and then next week he comes out and gets a 150, and he gets a 150 the other week, I'll be patting myself on the back and calling myself a genius. And if Darcy Cameron comes out and gets 130s for the next few weeks, and Grundy gets 120s, 130s for the next few weeks, I'll be calling myself an idiot. So, it's, I think, do what your heart tells you. If you can't live without watching Grundy or having him as your vice captain, do that. Or if you want to go and try and build finish your team earlier and try and catch people by having a better, more full team on the run to the end of the season, do it that way. Hone's back. Will trying to back trade after teams come back. Try to trade after teams come off the bye. Yep. Well, it's holding out for Nas. I think I've given up on Nas. I won't be getting Nas into the team. He didn't show enough earlier on the season with the tags, and I think now he's been quite injured and been out for quite some time. I think I'm just going to let Nas go myself. Yep. Mo guesses between Grundy or Cameron with 300k. So you got 300k in the bank. After, I'm not an absolute expert. So, if you want to go BJ Williams, go BJ Williams. I just think that, I say Cameron's more consistent, but then I'm really worried that the thing that worries me most about Cameron is not his scoring potential, is the fact that the new mid-season draft guy comes in to replace Steen. Collingwood looked like they liked that matchup, that dual ruck system. They looked like they really liked it. So, they went and got another ruck in the mid-season draft. So I got a feeling they might play him in a week or two's time, especially if they feel like Cameron is not coping too well as a solo ruck. They might play him. They like the fact that that Steen was a jumper. A bit like the Sherry situation, or even the St Kilda situation. They put the guy who's the more mobile jumper in for the CBAs, and then they get Cameron to run around and do more of the around the ground work. So Cameron could work out not good, but as a solo ruck, I think he's very good. But it's just a matter of, does he stay as a solo ruck? Same as Sherry with his 199, yeah. And that's why I can't preach the Cameron and the BJ Williams too much, because I went and did with my team. I've got now Grundy, Gawn, and Jackson, and I'm happy, I guess. I'm happy that I've got them, and I just hope that what we saw in the first half of the season continues in the second half of the season, and they continue to be the big scorers. As we saw last week, it didn't happen, but on any particular week we've seen from the past, you know, the first 11 games of the season, if these guys go 150, 150, 150, it doesn't really matter whether I've got, Walsh that goes 100 or Callahan that goes 100. That's going to make up for it. That's going to help me, and that's going to give me legitimate captain options. Whereas a lot of weeks now, not even the Bont or the Dacos are safe, or Butters are safe captain options every week, where a lot of these rucks are seeming to be the more consistent this year. So, yeah, I think it's, and the second half of the season might change. These midfielders might get a bit of form, and they might start smacking out 130, 140, 150s every week, and the rucks might lose a little bit. But I'm just going on what I've seen so far, and I'm going on the fact that I just couldn't deal with, not getting these big scores, even if I let the rest of my team suffer a little bit. And I did have let the rest of my team suffer a little bit. But don't forget I'm playing for leagues. So if these guys go really big, it could be the difference between winning my league match and not winning my league match. So that was another, thing that made me do it. Sherry is a wild card after this week. Like I said, I wouldn't even mind if you waited one more week before getting him. Give one more look. He's got a high break even. See if it comes down. See if the time on ground is the same as what it was. Because these couple of games going into the buys is a little bit weird. So it might be worth holding and just seeing if it continues to be a little bit weird. Injuries are taking a toll. Yeah, I've only got 12 trades left, and that's diabolical for this time of year. Normally for me, I'm a bit of a Scrooge with my trades, as opposed last year I wasn't so much. I actually ran out of trades last year for the first time maybe ever, and it looks like I don't know if I will complete my team, to be honest. I don't know if it's possible. That's why I'm thinking of people like Lindsay and Murdoch could well be sitting in my F6 and D6 for quite some time. When does team... This is a question that I know, G Money. Yes, I know. It's funny. When does Team Picker come out? It comes out very close to my birthday. Usually comes out right around Christmas every year. And I'm waiting already. I'm like you. I'm waiting. I know you're being funny there, but I'm actually waiting for next year now. And it'll be usually be my first video of the year. Usually, a lot of years it's actually come out on my birthday. This year it came out a little bit earlier, a week or so before Christmas. Hey, Karen, how are you? Nice to see you, Karen. Disastrous round for you, 2,182. Oh, sorry to hear that, mate. Down to 50,000 trades this week. Bolter. And eventually getting rid of Mason Cox. Out for Ison and Banfield. 5.99 in the K in the bank. Mason Cox was not getting enough game time. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for my week wasn't too bad. Even though I have to show you guys and girls this. Go to the history of this season. So let's look at my points scored, each round scores. First week I scored 2,330. That's week 1. No upgrades, no nothing. Week 1, come out, scored 2,330. Now we look at the rest of my scores. I have not beat that score. That's a sad, sad state of affairs where your week 1 score is the highest score and you've made 18 trades. That's a sad... I don't know if I could ever say that anything like that has happened before. It's a sad state of affairs for me. It really, really is. So 2,298. It's my second highest score of the season, which was last week. So I'm hoping that we can pick it up. But I'm certainly not going to be one of these. There are teams now. There are teams out there now that are very close to full primo that could be getting close to 3,000 in a week if they are not during the buys, obviously, but by the time they come out of the buys, there will be teams getting 2,800s. 2,006. A good score will be 2,600 plus for some teams on a good week. So, and that's not going to be my team. A good score for my team is going to be 2,400. And if we're lucky. Hey, Michael, we showed your team if you were, oh no, that's the other Michael, I think. I'm doing well. Cook to Ison and then team sheet dependent, someone to Dacos. Yep, like we said, I think Dacos is an exception to the wait to buying off the buys. If you don't have Nick Dacos, this is the week. Get Nick Dacos this week. I think I want him over Holmes too. If you have a like, oh, should I get Holmes? Should I get Dacos? You get Dacos. Unless it's, unless you desperately, you don't need unless you don't need a midfielder and you only need a defender, I'd be getting Dacos. We keep doing it to ourselves. Will, yeah, I can't blame anyone else but myself for my dumb decisions this year. And that's why next week I'm really trying to study who I want next week. It's probably not going to alter my decision, but I'll ask you guys and girls out there. So my 3 options. Should we try a poll? I haven't tried a poll yet. I'm going to try a poll. Let's start a poll. Who to pick next week? How do I do we put so Noah's Ark, Rao, or LDU? Let's see if this works. Can you guys see that? I don't even know if I can't. Oh, yeah, there we can see it. There we go. So I'm picking Noah. I don't think I could even pick. Can you guys let me know if that poll's working? So they're my 3 choices next week. Noah Anderson, Matt Rao, or LDU. And I did a lot of stats, and I hate to say it because I sold him. And hopefully I've learned my lesson that next year, 3 weeks is a hold. Next year, 3 weeks is a hold, 100%. And injuries that aren't this you talk about rank and stuff, like in other injuries, like injuries where they're not actually injuries. Even Sherry was a hold, I think. Injuries where they're not injuries, they're just suspended, or, it's even a 1-week concussion or things like that. They're holds, and I haven't done that this year. If I had held Sherry, I would have been happy. If I had held Noah Anderson, I would have been happy. There are sells that I sold that I was happy, but in the future, I think it's Sammy Slappers. Darren, you want to have a look? I'll have a look. Salami. Sammy, where did I get Sammy from? Darren, this will be you, the one that says Darren. I forgot to add the rivalry last one. Rochelle and Cook are out. Banfield and Baz Smith in, 15 trades left. Sounds reasonable to me. Sounds very good. Oh, you've got a bit of a rough back line like me, buddy. I feel sorry for you and your back line. Your overall rank is pretty reasonable, mate. You could easily make the top 10%. Got Lindsay on the bench. Nice. Butters, Bont, LDU, Dacos, Callahan, Murdoch, Rashenko, Anderson. Yep, you got all the good guys, the good men. Grundy, Gawn, Sheasel, Petrarca, Flanders, Rochelle, Cook. So you said you're going Rochelle and Cook out, Bamfield and Baz Smith. You're moving Murdoch into there. I like it. You're getting another gun midfielder. I like it. Who's your flex? Luke Jackson. Oh, nice. You got 3 big rucks. Yep, I like it. Your team looks very similar to mine, mate. So, yep, I think they are fair. Like I said, if you are upgrading this week for someone, it's got to be the top dogs. No mid, top dogs all value, no mid-tier. There's no way I'm getting in a mid-tier. I'd be getting in a mid-tier player this week. Someone like I wouldn't be getting in any of these 450k forwards who have got a buy coming up. I just wouldn't be doing it, and I wouldn't be getting in, a 500k, defender or a 500k, midfielder. I'm either going to the top or getting the best value. I think they're fair, mate. I think that'll keep you going well. You still got 15 trades after that, which is still a lot better than me. So yeah, I like it. Plus, Rochelle hasn't been that great, so I've got no problems with you selling him. Cook's made his money. Yep, I think it's fine and dandy. Michael, if you're talking about day costs, it's the cheapest he's been in about 3 years. Yeah, 2023. Yeah. So that's what you got to get him now. If you don't have Dacos in your team now, it's the time to buy. He'll be good. He'll cop some tags, but he'll be good. He'll still be a top 5, potentially 4 midfielder by the end of the season. So you don't have to worry about it. He has so much more potential. He's still getting decent scores, but he's butchering the ball. If he stops butchering the ball, he's going to be getting 150s and 160s. So he'll be at one. I predict he'll be at 600k by the end of the season. No problems. Karen, yes, it's working. Oh, the poll's working. Thank you for letting me know. We're going to do a crew, like I mentioned before. If you haven't already like, because I absolutely love hanging out here with you guys. And for you guys, we'll do it in a couple of weeks' time, but we will do a poll on what we're going to call my team next year. I have some options already that I've been thinking of. I've been writing them down. So I'm going to give you guys 3 or 4 options, and you guys can choose the name of my team. Karen, you said you're bringing in Ando too. You have LDU. LDU's been excellent, and I said he was going to be excellent preseason, and I never picked him, Karen. So good thing that you're smarter than I am. And yeah, well done there. And Ando, I sold him. So I told everyone to bring in LDU. I didn't bring him in. And then I had Ando, but then I sold him. Seano's not a smart human. It's just not. Not when it's come to Supercoach anyway. So I looked at, what I love about Ando's stats when I look at, because I really did look into him, like for about 15 minutes before I went on air with you guys. I was really looking into this. So if we look at him the last couple of weeks, like 3 big scores with 20, 24, and 23 kicks with only 11, 9, and 8 handballs. You know that Supercoach loves guys that like to kick. Points per minute, 1.5, 1.2, and 1.1. He's taken 10 marks, 5 marks, and 5 marks, 3 tackles, 4 tackles, and 3 tackles. Before that, he wasn't marking anywhere near that. He wasn't tackling quite as, he was tackling okay, but not quite as much as that. Where's the ground? How many meters gained? I don't know if it's got meters gained here. But, inside 50s, 8, 5, and 5 in the last 3 weeks, as opposed to the weeks before, a bit down. So all of that, Supercoach loves that. And he just wasn't doing it. The weeks before, he wasn't getting as many possessions. He was more almost half kicks, half handballs. these last 3 weeks stats are, big score stats, 120 plus stats. What he showed us he did last year, where he had a really, down here in 2025, where he went 152, 113, 146, so 75, then 139, 105, 127, 148, and 86, but 128, 147, if he gets on one of these runs, he could go really big. How's the poll going? Noah, Rao's the cheapest. Now, when I asked AI about Rao, so let's look at Rao's stats. That's LDU. Rao's the cheapest. Contested possession, he needs those contested possessions. If he doesn't get them, he doesn't score well. So I've highlighted the games he scored well. 17 contested possessions, 17 contested possessions, 17, 14. He doesn't kick as much. So he handballs, if not more, the same as what he kicks. So if he doesn't get contested possessions, if it's not a contested game, he's not going to get a big score. So that's the thing that I like about Ando over him, is that Ando can get that ball on the outside. He can be kicking it into the he's got more ways to score. He's not as dependent on the contested side of it. Don't get me wrong. If Rao gets those contested possessions, he can go really big. And I had him last year for this run of where he's like, 124 to 121, 121, 114, 106, 147, 156, 161, 143. So I still might get him, to be honest, because he's cheaper. I do think the contested bulls, the game can be a little bit more free-flowing this year. The contested bulls are finding it a little harder to be as consistent as they were last year. And also Rao now has Christian Petrarca in there doing a very similar job to he does a lot of the time, except Christian Petrarca goes forward to kick goals a bit as well. So, I mean, Rao was going massive last year. Like, how many 150 plus scores last year? So he's got, or let's say 140s. Look at them all. From round 16 last year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 140 pluses. That's massive. Every time getting more than 15 contested possessions. So I like them both. But I might just have to go Rao just because of the money situation. I just think Noah might be a little bit more consistent this year. The new rules might, as we predicted last year, the beginning of the year. That's why I picked Noah at the beginning of the year. I said the new rules were going to help him, and these high meterage gain players, and he just, he didn't really deliver. But he might have been a little bit, under the weather due to his appendix. We don't quite know. Michael says you've copped Sarong Whitfield double right at the start of the buys. Yeah, that's a bit rude. It's a bit rude. Hurts a little bit. And yeah, like I said, I wish we actually knew what was going on with Sarong. Not that I have him, but Freo's handling of it was, we're going to call it doing it Geelong style. Beaufort Street Bogans. Is that your team? Beaufort, be careful what you say there, Michael. I live on, Beaufort Street is my hangout. It's certainly not Bogans, but Beaufort Street is that's where I like to go and hang out. If you happen to hang out down Beaufort Street, you might see me at the pub. You might see me at the Queen's, or at the Brisbane, or the Flying Scotsman. Your tame's tame. I'll put that on the list. So, I'm not going to I won't do the, more like the Beaufort Street Yuppies. That's probably more likely to be honest these days, Michael. I've got the, we're not going to do it today, but so far on the list of potential name, we've got the Ralph Wiggins Impossibles because of Ralph.
Me fail English? That's impossible. Me fail English? That's impossible.
It's going to be like that. Ralph Wiggins Impossibles. We've got either Seano's or Baldrick's
Don't worry, Mr. B. I have a cunning plan to solve the problem.
So we have Seano's or Baldrick's cunning plan. Seano's sad sods. Seano's hired goons, which I don't know if you're Simpsons fans, you probably know where where I get that from. I used to play on a basketball team, and we used to call ourselves the hired goons.
Question is where to?
See if it comes up.
Who is it?
Goons.
Who?
Hired goons.
Hired goons.
Hi, goons. It makes me laugh every time, even after all these years. And appendix must have been his problem early. He was very ordinary. Looks back to, Karen, that's what I'm thinking, that the appendix maybe was just, bothering him, and he just wasn't being able to perform at his best. Could I look at your team, David? Sure. Little Fisher's Fury. Oh, you had it. Traded Lindsay, Steen, and Watkins out for Holmes, Ison, and Banfield. Yep, like I said, I think I like keeping Lindsay, but if Lindsay gets you Holmes, totally okay. Totally understandable. Roberts, Whitfield, Sinclair, Worrell, Dacos. So this will be Holmes. It's fine. You are rank 1000. Very nice. Very nice, David. Very, very good. Well done, buddy. Congratulations. Butters, Bont, Neil, what a good pick, mate. Oliver, what another good pick. Richards is back. After his buy, I'm seriously interested in Richards, but he might be too expensive then. If Bulldogs had their buy this week, I'd be picking up Richards next week at this current price. Like, I don't think I'd buy him now coming into the buy, but I believe Richards is back. Dacos, Murdoch, Rashenko, Jackson, Gorn, very nice. You've got the standard rookies. You've still got Sardis, which I wish I wasn't so money strapped and I could have kept like Sardis and a few of these other, like also Jagger Smith, but at the time I just needed the money. Sheasel, Petrarca, Flanders, Pickett, Reed, Lewis. Who the hell is Lewis? Oh, well, showing up. He's showing up. 99k, and he's made you 140k. Nice. Very, very nice. He's gone a little bit under the radar, hasn't he, buddy? Another good pick, David. Very, very nice pickup. Very much under the radar. He wasn't the ruck guy, right? He's straightforward. Oh, very nice, mate. Very nice. Yeah, I like your team. And you said your trades are Stan Watkins is gone for Banfield there. Ison is for Steen. You get Kalani White goes up there. Murdoch comes down. Yep, you're putting Ison in the midfield. Yep, and then Lindsay up to Holmes. Looks good. Yep, looks good. You got basically a completed defense. You've got 2 spots in the midfield and a couple of spots in the forward line. Forward line is a little bit shaky, but you've got Murdoch coming down. So no, Murdoch there is fine. That's actually pretty good. That's what I'm doing. You've got like almost like a completed defense and a completed forward line. Completed. And then you and then just work on your midfields. Bring them in after the bye, whoever you want. And you got Brody Grundy there. You're very nice, mate. Very, very nice. I think you're in a really good position. You're another one there. I think you could easily make top 500, if not better, by the end of the season. Just by pick. You're right. If I had a team like you, I'd be making sure that these two midfield spots are the best of the best. Save your money. If it means you have to spend up to get them, if it has to be a Bailey Smith, whoever's performing their absolute best, pay up for them. You know, you're pretty safe across the rest of the rest of your team. Just pay up for whoever. Like if this was my team, I'd be like, I want Bailey Smith, and maybe I want Noah Anderson if he can, if he's going to continue this form. And then I would be loving your midfield. Butters, Bont, Neal, Oliver, Richards, Dacos, Bailey Smith, and like Noah Anderson. All can go 150 on their day, which is beautiful. And then in your back line, once Murdoch's down here, I'd be happy with Murdoch at D6 for a while. And I think the rest of your forward line is fine. And you've got Grundy and you've got three big rucks. I'd be thinking about luxury the trades. So you got Holmes here of maybe a Dacos or a Worrell to whoever's performing the most. Like Dacos doesn't seem to be doing it. So once you get those two midfield positions sorted, if you've got the trades to do it, maybe considering a luxury trade of a Dacos to a Bailey Dale, maybe. Someone who can pump out. You want someone in who can, if you want to push for that top 500, you want someone who can pump out a 130, 140. Even a Malera, you got Worrell. If I wasn't getting one of the midfielders next week, I'd probably take a swing at Malera. Even though he can drop a 70, he's showing he can score a 130 or a 140. So as for top of liners, maybe we can have a look at that. David Hicks, Heaney, and Baz. You get, Heaney is the other one. So Heaney and Baz. Yep, Heaney I like too. So, yep, that can pretty much completes your team. And then what about who are the tops in each lines? Let's just so midfielders at the moment. So the average for this year, you got Smith, Butters, Bont, Heaney, Holmes. Don't worry about Holmes because we'll count him as a back line. Merritt. Want to have a little bit of look at what the new coach does with him, but I think it's a fairly safe pick. LDU, Dacos, Oliver, Neil. Dawson, I think Jordan Dawson is a reasonable pick. Ed Richards, I think it's going to be very good by the end of the season. Taranto, I don't like the fact he plays for Richmond, but he's nice and cheap. So I think, you definitely want to be in there. What about the last five? Jordan Dawson's right up there, last five. Don't worry about Errol Goulden, Clayton Oliver. Yeah, I think so that you kind of know what you want to do in the midfield. If you could have a luxury trade in the defence, well, Bailey Dale's on fire at the moment. We know he does good at Marvel. He did good last year, but he can be a little bit up and down. John Noble had a bit of a down game, but maybe his one can also be considered. I think that 160 sways his score a little bit. Yeah, he's gone. I don't know if I'm sold on Noble because he's really just had a really good last month. But before that, he had 2 months of pretty average. So it's kind of, he was at 450 only like a month and a bit ago. So I don't know if I'm on the Noble train. So Wayne Malera's right up there. Even Jaden Short's right up there, which is it's a bit surprising, but, and I guess Nas could go off. I mean, Nas is a decent price. I think if Nas goes gangbusters and you've got him, you're going to be very happy. Nick Blakey was down, but will probably be back next week. Ash, I don't like his new role. Josh Worrell has been down, so I would worry. I'd want to see a little bit more consistency. Yeah, if we go, who's in form? The last Bailey Dale's in form. Like I said, I don't. I think I'd take Josh Noble out. Roberts has Roberts turned a corner. I mean, Roberts. I predict if you were thinking about vice captaining Roberts this week, I probably wouldn't. I think Milan Murdoch will go to him. So I don't think I'd be doing it. Lockie Whitfield will hopefully be back soon, but I don't think he's playing this week. So the rumours are saying, but hopefully he'll be back soon, probably after his bye. He's one that I will definitely consider. Max Holmes, I think, is fine. Yeah, Nick Blakey, I probably think is fine. And this time of year, I'm thinking that unless there's something which is super good value, like the Wilkie pick, that that you got to try and afford the best of the best if you can afford them for those last two spots. Dacos to Ash. Yeah, after Jeter, you're thinking Dacos to Ash. I think that's fine. Josh Dacos, obviously, you mean. Yeah, he could turn, we have seen if his new role persists, maybe take a swing on one of the other guys. But I think he'll be a steady 90 to 105 to 110 player. And if he gets the roll back, he could be a 120 player. But yeah, you have to see what's going on. But I think that's fair. You would have a very nice defense, David. Yeah, I'm not a big Nas just hasn't. I think next year is going to be the year to start Nas. He'll have a full year playing in the midfield. He'll be more experienced. He might, have a bit more of a idea how to deal with the tag. Maybe the team will start helping him out a little bit with the tag as well. It's not just him that helps. It's you got to the team's got to help out as well. I actually saw a great interview with one of the we're a very good tagger, one of the best taggers around, and he said this is how you beat a tag, and he actually gave instructions. He was like, you run through traffic. He's like, that's how it makes it difficult for the tagger. If you want to beat a tagger, you take them into traffic wherever it's really congested or whatever, and then they run into other people. They can't stay with you. Weave in between other players. I was like, that's really smart. Obviously, a smart man and someone who's done it a lot before or been experienced that a lot before. Yeah, worried about tags and stuff for Nas. Yeah, I honestly think there are more consistent options within Nas. If you want a consistent player, I don't know if Nas is going to be the job. If you want someone who can score you 150 in a week, but might score you 30 or one, not like a 60 or a 70 the week after, then fine, go with Nas. Yeah. Forwards are a pain this year, and yeah, so Seano went and picked the full forward line first. Yep, Taryn. And Houston is a shocking pick. But we were throwing the dummy though. I mean, they said yes, we want to put the ball through Houston's hands, and we saw it. The coach said it, we saw it. He had consistent weeks, and we're like, yeah, it seems like a pretty safe pick. He has done it before. The problem was, I guess, we didn't study enough with. This is the other thing that we'll need to make notes for next year. We'll do a mid-year. At some point, we will do a mid-year review, and we'll bring up. I think I've still got it somewhere. I've still got it somewhere where my, what to do next year and my plan for next year type of things. And one of the years to look at, make sure the role is there, but also make sure, the role was there for Houston while Howe and Moore weren't in the team. As soon as Howe and Moore came back, it was like Howe just took all the kick-ins, and it was like just tanked his score completely. And, so I want to make sure next year that if I'm picking someone on their current form, it's not because they're, other players are out of the team. I'm semi-interested in LDU. I'm just slightly more on, like, LDU and Rao, I think, are the same. They're contested bulls who need the contested possessions. The thing I do like a little bit more than LDU than Rao in some points is that he's the man. Rao has Petrarca now to share the load. They're both kind of the men. Whereas LDU, he's got what, Wardlaw, and Sheasel is more the Noah Anderson of Gold Coast. He's the Noah Anderson of North Melbourne, where he's a little bit more on the outside and delivers it. Kicks it more, goes for goal, gets it in at inside 50s. So but LDU's the number one, get in and get the ball. But Rao's more cheaper. So that's the only reason I'm going. If I'm going to go a bull, I might go Rao. Who keeps changing their vote? I was just about to end the poll. I'm going to give them one more minute if you want to get in the poll. And while you're clicking on the poll button, you might as well click on the like button. So if you haven't already clicked on the like button, do that. We've had 15 likes, which is very nice, but we could get a few more. 16. We still got 19 people watching, or 18 people watching. There's a lot of luck. There is a lot of luck, and that's why I'm not too down on myself this year. I haven't, yes, I don't mind showing it. I'm not ashamed. I've had a shit year. This is one of my worst years ever. 64,000. I can't remember the last time I was ranked this high. And I've made mistakes, but there is a lot of luck. And I really didn't know what to do about the buys at the beginning of the season. And I was wrong. I came straight out. If I had picked LDU and Steele and, and whoever else wasn't playing the buys, I'd be in a lot better position than I was. I also did not predict about the big rucks. I didn't go the two big starting rucks because I thought the rucks might be affected. There was a lot of uncertainty this year, and I think I overanalyzed it, and I picked people like Walsh that I would never pick. These picks that I was sold into this year, I'm not doing that next year. This is one of the things for the list. I'm doing the best of the best and rookies. I'm paying up for Bont. Like if I'm picking my team right now for next year, the back line looks like, Sinclair, one other, or potentially three guns here, hopefully around the 550 to 600 mark, but three of the best. Sinclair, if Archie Roberts is still doing well, and Whitfield, three. And then in the midfield's like the same. Not this year I had four. I think I'll be three. I'll be like Bont, Bailey Smith, whoever, Noah Anderson, or Dacos or whoever. And then the forward in the midfield, in the ruck line, there'll be two huge rucks. I don't care if I'm paying 650K for them. There'll be two big rucks. And in the forward line, there'll be one or two. There'll be like two 500K dudes, unless there's a guy like Petrarca or Sheasel, which we have to have, which I don't think we're going to get next year. If you guys can think of anybody that we right now who's going to be a mid forward next year who we're going to want, please let me know, because I can't think of any at the moment that are going to be. The forward line's going to be rough next year. I'm saying it right now. If it isn't already rough this year, but it's going to be when it comes to DPP, it's going to be rough. There's going to be very few decent DPP players. Your number one or two forwards might be someone like a Murphy Reed next year, to be honest. But that's my plan for next year. And then the rest are just going to be straight up rookies, like bargain pricement rookies, except for the number one or the number two draft picks that I'll be picking, as long as they get named in round one, because they always seem to do okay. And then I'll leave myself about up to 500K in the bank to buy the mid prices that do the best. Because we saw this year we shat the bed by having too many mid prices. and we pick the wrong ones or the right ones. Better to have the money to go up from a rookie that's not performing to a mid-pricer than trying to, get rid of, 5 or 6 of them. I can still have like one mid-pricer in each line, but I'm not having like Blackiston and Windsor, and I'm not having like, we had Parrish and Young this year. No, just one. That's the plan for next year, whether we stick to it or not, whether I talk myself out of it next year. We're going to end the poll now. It was a draw between Noel Anderson and Matt Rao, and then LDU came last. Is Richmond's short a backline option? I guess he is. He's put his hand up and said he is. The Richmond get a lot of ball. There's a lot of ball back there in that back line. I guess he is. I mean, he burnt the hell out of us last year. I've still got third-degree burns from him last year, but I cannot deny he's been very good. Besides these 260s, you'd be extremely happy with that. If his name was anyone else but Short, I'd be raving about him and saying how he's a good pick and how you definitely at 500k he's good value. The only reason I'm not doing that is because his name's Short and he was so terrible last year. So he's done it before, so I think he is. I think you can pick him and pretty much, hope for 100 average and be pretty happy that he's going to get you 100 average. It's almost shames me to say it, but I have to say it. Now I've said that, you watch him get 80 for the next, month. Thank you, David. Thank you. I appreciate that you guys actually show up and listen to me, even though I'm 60k, not 50k. It was 70k last week before my decent score this week. I do the research. The research is solid. I don't just get up here and dribble crap. I do the research. I watch a lot of other content creators, which sometimes can be a bad thing. Sometimes they can sell you down the wrong path as well, just like I can to you guys occasionally. But I do take all the information to get in, and then I look at it, and then I give it back to you guys as best I can, and I try and give the best advice. And I have had good years before. It's not like it's my first year and all of a sudden I'm at 60,000. I'm here trying to give people advice, about something I don't know anything about. I've been playing since it started, even before it was on the computer. So I know what I'm doing. It's just this year has been a rough year, and you get these years sometimes. And like you said, David, I look at some teams that are ranked 1,000 and they're not that different from me. If I just throw a few, if I take out the Clark and the Dacos and I put Whitfield and Holmes here, in here I don't have McCluggage and Walsh. I have, or Finn Callahan. I have Clayton Oliver and LDU. Forward line's fine. I've got the best forward line you can have. But that was also a mistake paying up for the forward line. I paid too much. I paid too much for Pickett. I paid too much for Horne-Francis. I probably paid too much for Petrarca as well. So, and Shees was the only one which I'm happy that I paid up for. But just a few different little decisions, not understanding how the buys were really going to affect us at the beginning and understanding how rucks were always going to be good would have made a massive difference to my season. And it's the difference of not 10,000 places, 40, 50,000 places maybe. I would easily, I'd say if we didn't have round 0 and there was no changes to the ruck rule, I'd be in about top 20,000 for sure. But I just got in my own head and everybody else's head. But is what it is. I'm playing for my leagues now. That's the one good thing. I always say it's nice having a league with all your friends and the drafts and stuff, because it keeps you interested. And you'll find that I think a lot of people will drop off in interest. I noticed with my streaming last year that by the end of the season, my videos, like my round review, nobody cared. Let's be honest. I was doing a lot better this year, but nobody watched my round review videos at the end of the season because people just switch off and turn off. Where I'll be here no matter how bad, even if my score blows out, which it might because the whole playing for leagues business, it could blow out, but I'll still be here, and I'll be here next year too. Davo, this is your second year at Supercoach, and you've been learning a lot from Supercoach gurus like me. Season rank is currently 1,333. I mean, that's amazing, mate, for your second year. Keep up the good work, mate. That's all I can say. And it definitely helps. I'm not saying people have to watch me, but I guarantee you watching and some of the bigger guys are the ones to watch. Like, you know, I don't mind. I don't feel like they don't tell me to promote them or anything, but I love, you know, the sword play guys, the center bounce guys, the Supercoach Insight guys. They put a lot of work into it. They have a history like me, even though you wouldn't know from here. They have a history of scoring well, and they put a lot of work into studying, you know, who and why players are doing what they should. And I think in general they give pretty good advice. But with anything, you know, it is a game and there is luck involved and things go wrong. You know, you can never predict the injuries we had this year. I mean, like I just showed you guys earlier on, my starting score is my highest score. So there's no way I could predict Goulden and Rosie and, you know, Noah Anderson and Petrarca. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. And right now we're still copying it. Like, I'm lucky that my team isn't as good as I want it to be, because if my team was as good as I want it to be, I would have Whitfield in my team for sure. And he's out. You know, I probably wouldn't. I considered Sarong, and at the beginning of the year, Sarong wasn't a bad pick when he didn't for his non-buy. And, you know, so if you made a good pick at the beginning of the year with Sarong, you're paying for that too now. So, yep, just like luck it's kind of turning around. It's kind of changing. Davo, with your score, okay, Davo, so have I looked at your team already? What's your team name, Davo? Yeah, don't do Dunkley this year. Dunkley, like, he's not showing it yet. David, I mean, the teams come out tonight, but for as far as I heard, Whitfield's out. But wait for the teams tonight. I can't remember where I saw that, so it's not definite, but I was under the impression that Whitfield is not playing this week, which would make sense because he's got his your team name is the same. Davo. Does it have a dash? Because apparently nobody has a dash. Oh, Davo's Tall Timber. Sorry. There we go. So you got 5 primos to go. Sinclair, Malera, Ash, Lindsay, Carroll, Selwood. I assume you've made some trades this week, which I can't see. Butters, Bont, Heaney, Holmes, LDU, Callahan, Steele, and Roby. Nice pick of Roby there. So excellent. Sherry, Jackson, Sheasel, Petrarca, Tracy, Williams, Philippou, and Robertson. You still got Robertson? Max going down there. All right. So you got a few issues this week, don't you? Unfortunately, Selwood was the same issue as me. He's got a break even of 93, but there's no real rookies. So, and what's his break even? 43. Okay. Without actually you telling me your trades, mate, if I just looked at your team, this was my team. So there's not going to be any bias here. I'd probably sell Selwood, move Holmes into the back line, get Ison, and I would sell Robertson, and I would get Banfield. I don't know how much money you've got, but that would make you a reasonable amount of money. God, you got nice pod. You could actually gain quite a lot of places too, because if people, not everyone's going to have Williams or Tracy, and if they start going off, you're gonna move up quite well. Roby's doing well. You still got Murdoch. You can play Murdoch down here, which is nice. Then with that money, I would then consider going. The question is, do you go someone this week, or do you? Because you don't really have anybody. The only other one is maybe Carroll, but you've already got Holmes, so maybe you already got Malera, so you don't want to wait 1 week. You got Wilkie, Ison, and Banfield. How does your round 16 buy look? Have you checked your buys? Wilkie, Ison, and Banfield. So Wilkie for Selwood, Ison, and Banfield. Because you got plenty of loop options. Yeah, I got rid of Robertson the other week. So 200K in the bank after you've done those trades. Who are you? Is it I assume it's Selwood, the Wilkie. So 200K in the bank. You've already got LDU so you don't need him next week. You already got Malera. Yeah, I don't count Carroll and Pooh as premiums though. So long as you're counting your premiums, don't care about so you got Bont, you've got Sinclair, you got Holmes. Not too many. Oops. Gorn, do you have Gorn? You got Gorn, it's 1. You got Bont and Holmes, that's 2, 3. You got Sinclair, that's 4. You'll have Wilkie, that's 5. Okay, that's fine. 5 is fine. 5 is acceptable. Don't want to get any more out of that round. So with 200K in the bank, I guess you got a couple options. You can try and there's no one really. I don't think I'd be looking at Luke Parker. So there's no really defenders coming off the round 12 buy that I would want. But coming off the round 13 buy, you've got Whitfield, you've got Short, if you've got the cojones to go there, which you could try and get Carroll up to. So Whitfield, you got Short. I mean, so you got a couple options. That would be the spot that I'd be looking at to try and get up next. That'd be the one that I'd be looking to get up. You've got lots of choices for decent rookies for the for here. You got teams in a very good situation. Plus, you could go, your forward line is fine as well, really. You can bring down Murdoch. You can potentially go, I might even go, if I was you, for another big dog midfielder. You could potentially, don't worry about that back line. Just leave Carroll there, unless you want one of those defenders, I say. Sell Philippou, move Murdoch down there, and then get one of the those mids I was talking about, or potentially a Dawson, if you like Dawson as well. He's one that I didn't really mention, but also could be a good pick. Then your midfield is pretty much complete. And I think you've got pretty much all the big dogs that you want. You've got, you don't have Dacos. You could get Dacos this week. That would be, we'll get, Nick Dacos next week. Okay. This round's the worst for the buys. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6 primos. Yeah. Can't get Nick Dacos this week. Yeah. Took Miller, I think he'll be a reasonable forward. He'll be in that same 450 mark that, 450 to 500 forward will be reasonable. You don't have, before this year, don't do what I've done with the forwards. Fill up that midfield and your defender spot first with players who can go big. So, yeah, Dawson, you could have Dawson. You said you got Wilkie, right? So you move Holmes back there. You've actually got 2 midfield spots that you've got that you can fill. So if you can get Dacos this week, I'd be seriously considering Dacos this week. Like instead of if you can get from Robertson, I guess you're going down to, if you can get up from a Lombard, would I go Dacos over Wilkie? I think you got to play the break-even game. Wilkie's got a very small break-even. Nick Dacos has so the break-even game says Wilkie. Now, if you had a boost, I don't know if you got a boost, but if you had a boost, I would use a boost. I would get them both. If you can, I'm going to do Philippou next week, so maybe it's okay, but wait for next week. But if you only got 200K in the bank, it looks like you might fall short a little bit of money. I think if you want Wilkie, I think you have to get Wilkie this week, because even if Dacos scores a 120 or 130, he won't go up very much. So you can get Dacos next week. I think your plan I think you've planned well. I think you've got the best plan. So if there's no way for you to get Dacos this week as well, then, but this is why I kept on saying that I want to boost for the buys. If my team was in your situation and I had the money where I could wangle it, I would get them both. But the only way I see you could wangle it is by getting rid of Philippou, which would make you some money. So in my head says Dacos will go up some money, but Philippou will also go up some money, so it won't really cost you any more. I'm predicting Philippou will go up about 10K. They're saying more than that, but I'm saying he'll be 355K-ish after this round. So, and Dacos may go up the same. If Dacos scores a 120 or a 130, he will also go up, 10 or 15K. It's only if he scores a 150. But at the same time, if you want the score and you want the score now, I think, you could dump, Philippou if he gets it to you. If you could get there from Lombard, I'd be doing that. If there's any way you had enough money, which it doesn't sound like you would, saying you've got 200K, to get from Lombard up to Dacos and to get Wilkie as well, yeah. All right, we'll have a look. All boosts are gone, yeah. Like mine too, Davo. Next year, somebody please remind me next year. Actually, I really tried to keep my boost to the buys this year, but I just ran into a situation where I couldn't. Robert traded out Lombard, Selwood, and Robertson to get Wilkie, Ison, and Banfield. Yeah. I think that's your best option, mate. Do that and get Dacos next week. Yep. Do that and get Dacos next week. I think you've set it up as best you can. Yep. In an ideal world, you had a bit more money and you could get Dacos this week, but you can't. So you're just going to have to live with it. He won't. I mean, there's potential he gets a big score this week, but like I said, Philippou should, touch wood, go up. Philippou should go up. So he should counter a little bit of money. So, all right. Yeah, thank you, mate. Thank you for being here. Michael, most likely Young adding Dacos after I see the team sheets. And maybe Rao next week. We'll have 16 trades left if you don't bring in Bamfield as well. Rank 38,000. I say it's reasonable compared to me. Dale, Roberts, Sinclair, Houston, Lindsay with Whitfield on when he comes back. Dirksen and Blamiers. Probably time to sell Blamiers. What, Michael? Who are you selling and buying, and how much money you got in the bank? Dacos, Bont, Finn, Walsh, Roshenko, Anderson, Burton, Ison, your Butterson, Sheasel, and Sarong on the bench. Very nice. Gorn with McAndrew. Like so, I think McAndrew can go if you want. Flanders, Pickett, Daniels, Murdoch, Jones, Smith, Henry. Still having Smith is very handy. I wish I still had Smith, Rochelle and Petrarca. So you've already got Ison sold Cook to Ison. 469 in the bank. All right, so you're loaded up for next week. And how many trades you got, buddy? How many trades you got? So you've got Flanders, Pickett, Petrarca, Sheasel, Daniels, and Murdoch. 17. If you've got 17 trades, I'd consider getting Bamfield this week. I'd consider it. If you get Dacos, you you're going to add Dacos after you see the team sheets. Who's Dacos coming in for? Rochelle? Who are you getting Dacos for? You're not trading out Roshenko. You shouldn't be trading out Anderson. You shouldn't be trading out Ison. Probably keep Sarong just until you find out what's going on. Burton or Anderson. You can get up from Burton to Dacos. Oh, you got all that money in the bank? One, two, three, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hoping Anderson is named. I am, but I'm not. If he's not named, I can sell him and then get more money. And if he is named, then I'd probably sell Burton and make no money. Is the way. So I'm in two minds. I kind of hope he is, but he isn't. You know what? I'd be seriously considering. I don't like Rochelle. I think you got a decent enough forward line. If I was you, I'd be considering. I probably shouldn't tell you this because then he'll get ranks midfield time and he'll score a fortune. But Rochelle kind of pissed me off. I've got him in another league. Every week I was like, he's going to get more midfield time. He didn't get more midfield time. He said he's going to get more midfield time. He didn't get more midfield time. The coach said he's going to get more midfield time. He didn't get more midfield time. Rank goes out. He didn't get more midfield time. So, I mean, if those rookies are playing, I'd be more tempted to swing Sheasel forward, kill Rochelle, and then do, then you've got even more money. Or even go down from Rochelle to Banfield. Then you've got a stack. Yeah, I guess that's probably smart. But I'm just looking at your forward line. You've got Smith, who I reckon is going to outscore Rochelle. You've got Murdoch, who I reckon there's a good chance outscores Rochelle. You've got 7 decent midfielders, not including him. So you got Flanders, Pickett. I mean, Daniels is a bit but you've got him in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got 7. You've almost got 8 forwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I was going to ditch one, well, it'd probably be out of Daniels or Rochelle. But I mean, if Rochelle got me a gun, like if there was any way that you could get Dacos and Holmes, something like that, by getting rid of Rochelle, I'd be doing that. I don't know if you can make that much money somehow. Blamiers, get rid of, if you could get Blamiers, up to Holmes or something as well by doing, I don't know if you've got any boost left, but I think it's, I don't know, maybe I'm just Rochelle biased, but I don't like it. Round 16, so you can't do Holmes. Oh, you got Bailey Smith. Yeah, okay. You've got Max Gorn. You got Pickett. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, you can't get Holmes. You got 7. Yep. So Dacos it is. Dacos it is then. I guess Dacos it is. Yeah. All right. I see your predicament. And then, then wait around, bank the money, pick people up off their buys then. Pick someone up off their buy, whether, maybe instead of Houston, you got a couple of spots there. Oh, you got Whitfield to come back, so you only really got that one spot. I don't know. You either wait for Houston or you get someone like a Malera maybe. I don't know. I don't want to push Malera too much in case he turns to shit again. And then, maybe Rashenko's time to go. Maybe it's Anderson's time to go. I still think you're doing okay, buddy. You're doing okay. I see your predicament, though. But your forward line is set. In the coming weeks, 100% I'll be looking to offload either Rochelle or even, I don't know. Do you like Daniels? You keeping Daniels? I don't know. It's one of those picks that he's probably okay. He's probably okay. He's in this whole realm of forwards that are okay. I don't know if we're going to go too much longer, crew. I think that's probably it. It's probably time for my lunch. Any other questions or anything before we go? You got a second primo. You could get a second primo ruck. It's probably a good idea. Yeah, you got Sherry in mind. You got Sherry in mind or Grundy. If you're gonna get Grundy, you could go Grundy this week. But yeah, I still like Dacos though this week though. If you don't have Dacos, he's at a very, very nice price. So I think your plan to get Dacos is fine. Hey Kristen, thank you for your nice comments about Hugh McCluggage. I was thinking about you when Hugh McCluggage crapped the bed, and after we had that big discussion. So when I mentioned in my last video, I was like, No, we had this big discussion about Hugh McCluggage and Finn Callahan. I was thinking of you when I said that. Your brain is hurting trying to decide what to do in the trades. I hate having waiting teams to decide. I have Whitfield feeling I need cover, getting Bamfield for Lombard, Marshall to Wilkie. That sounds fine. You've already got the ice on, kid? You've already got ice on, I assume, Kirsten? So yeah, that's all right. I got time. I always got time for you. Kristen, didn't call you? Oh, that's Karen. Thank you, Karen. Yeah, if you've already got ice on, yeah. So I think it's fine then. Getting Bamfield for Lombard, sure, sounds good to me. And Marshall to Wilkie, I'm getting Wilkie. Hopefully for us, he gets back. I'm going to say, should I even jinx this, Kristen? Should I jinx this? I really want to say that I think he'll be fine. I think this is nothing to worry about, these 80s. I think he got a bit of attention in this 80. He's obviously injured here, 100. I don't see why Houston can't score like this. I mean, Wilkie can't score like this again. I don't see why we can't be getting these scores. Anyway, I hope we are, because otherwise I've got another dud in my back line. And the last thing I need is another dud in my back line. I've already got Clark and Dacos. I just got rid of one dud in the name of Houston. Definitely don't want to get in another dud, but he's at least scoring potential. If the Wilkie pick goes wrong, I won't be too upset, because he's showing what he can deliver, and there's no reason why he can't deliver that again. So if it goes bad and goes sideways, it goes bad and it goes sideways. We'll have to deal with it. We'll have to suck it up and deal with it like we have been the rest of the season. But anyway, crew, thank you everyone for being here. I hope everybody has a great weekend and a great, not only Supercoach wise, but in general. Apparently it's going to absolutely belt down rain here for my weekend off. So that's pretty much typical. If you haven't already liked, please sub if you're not already subbed. If you're watching this video in the future, let me know in comments, who are you trading in and out, and who are your vice captain and captain choices. We didn't talk too much about that, but if you want to know who I think are the best captain and vice captain choices, go back and check out my trades and captains videos. And if you'd like to see my round review video, go check that one out too. And if you like those, I will appreciate that very much as well. Don't forget to join the Discord if you're not already there. As you see, every Thursday we do the live videos. We put people's teams up on the screen and we have a bit of a chat about them and try and offer, well, as best advice as I possibly can. Kristen, not sure. Mean round 16 bye is going to stuff you. Yeah. Be careful about the buys, crew. We're in the buys. Make sure you don't stuff your team by having too many people out on the one buy. You either want to go value or the best of the best. And if you're going to go the best of the best or the value, make sure probably 6 is the absolute most that you want out of any round. 5 is a much better number. Anything less than 5, I think, is very manageable. So, but if you're getting 6 or over, if you've got 5, you probably want to try and control yourself from getting in the 6. We're going to do what we usually say. Don't do what Seano is doing, or don't do what I'm doing. Just do what I'm saying. I'm saying don't get 6 in. I'm getting 6 in because I'm buying Wilkie for around 16. And a lot of you probably might be getting in 5 or 6 when you're getting in Holmes. I think they're both okay. But if you can avoid it and keep it to a lower number for the moment, that is always going to benefit you, especially if we've had a rough year. If you get a few injuries and stuff, it could go a little bit sideways. But hopefully, fingers crossed that's not going to happen. And so thank you everyone for watching. As usual, we'll go through and say thank you to the people in chat before we go. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Michael WCE. Thank you, Davo Tall Timber. Thanks for everyone who answered the poll. Was a draw between Noah and Rao. Noah Anderson and Rao. David Hicks, thanks for being here, mate. Darren Phillips, thank you for participating. Will Power, good to see you, mate. G Money. Did I miss? Oh yeah. That was when when's the team picker come out? That was a good one, mate. Mo Lester, good to see you, my friend. Lancey, good to see you. Brody Pool, good to see you as well. G Bags, always nice to see you. Your boy, I said I got it right that time. Nice, thank you for turning up to the stream. Aussie M8130, good to see you. BP McHales, thank you for being here. And I think that's everyone, but if I missed you, once again, thank you very much. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment. And I will talk to you all again very soon.